start stream, go to the chat, and OBS. Here we go. All right, so just give me 1 second. My mic is in the worst possible place that it could be. So, yeah, welcome everyone to what is effectively phase 2 of Unmasking Mckamey, the Tennessee haunt, shall we say. We're going to be looking at some new faces this evening. We're going to be talking to some close calls. We're even going to be throwing in a current staff member and supporter of Russ right at the end of this stream, just as a little spicy meatball, shall we say. And yeah, I know a lot of you have been enjoying these streams. We're enjoying doing them, and we're going to keep them going. We want to make sure we get everyone's story across. And we've put a slow mode on the chat this evening just to help with the mods, and really so we can kind of interact with you a little bit better. Because yeah, I had to put the sweater on again as well. Like, it is absolutely freezing. And what I'm going to do is, rather than sort of me sit and rattle off, anyone that wants to show support to the channel, there's a link in the description. Anyone who wants to order Christmas gifts, razor wire is a good option. And of course there is the Patreon. If anyone wants to interact on the chat, we've got a little text-based interaction for all of our patrons on Discord for questions up in the corner here. But yeah, absolutely fantastic turnout at the start. So thank you very much for showing the support. Please leave a like. And what we're going to do is we're going to start off our first episode with the Tennessee hunt with a close call, shall we say, in an almost contestant. With a lady named Jennifer. So I'm just going to introduce you, and we'll see how that goes. Let's have a look. Hi, Jennifer. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Now, as with absolutely everybody that we've had on, if you just want to assume none of us know who you are and none of us have heard your story, and just introduce yourself and tell us your story from start to finish, sort of in your own words.
All right. Well, as you have said, my story isn't exactly as hands-on as other people's have been because I was what we could say a close call. In fact, I am so much a so-called such a hold on a minute.
That's
I
fine.
am such a close call that I was 2 days away from actually going to the haunt. And I first found out about the manor a long time ago, pretty much when I was really young, and when he had his original manor going.
Oh, we're losing you a little bit.
I ran across. Don't tell me that. My
Hang on.
internet better not be acting up.
Yeah. Let me just see. Am I coming through okay? Miranda Boer, thank you very much for that super chat.
You're
Thank you.
coming through, Ron. You're coming through good,
Am
Ron.
I coming okay? Okay. We're still learning how to use this new sort of setup, so you just need to bear with us. I'm just going to do one thing just before we go back. I'm just going to add Anthony and family into this. Excuse the ramblings that appear on your screen there. But we'll cut back to Jennifer. And Andy Fry tipped, hello Jennifer, welcome to the family. Thank you very much for using the tip, Andy. It really helps us out. Now, how do we do this again? Go back to here. And no, go back to me. Go back to here. And Jennifer, do you just want to try with... you can try with your camera off if you think that'll help. But see how you get on. See how you get on now.
Okay, can you hear me now? All right, let's see. All right, let me know if that's any better at all. My internet was acting up earlier, so Right. Um, okay, let me know if it is better or worse.
Yep. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Yeah, no. I think it's coming through pretty clear.
Yeah, my mic's off. That's how good I'm. That's how good I am. So my mic was off there. I do apologize. Okay, so you're coming through. Okay, so yeah, I think it is Jennifer. I think it is sadly your internet connection. So just give me 1 second, everybody out there. I'm just going to add some more guests into this. Just bear with me, and I'll add. I know we've got Anthony and his entire family have come on to put in a little bit more of their say. And here we are. How are you doing, sir?
I'm all right. I think I'm doing this right. Am
Yeah,
I?
yeah, we get that. We
Okay.
got there.
Good.
We got there in the end. Sadly, I think Jennifer's internet connection had other ideas for her this evening, and none of them involved being able to communicate with us. So, I know you were keen to come back on for the Tennessee section, and I know that you've come back with some family members to sort of tell us some more on the Russ McKamey saga.
Well, yeah, none of the family is here with me.
Okay, that's okay too. Don't
Some
worry.
had work, but I am here. And yeah, just forgive my ignorance with the Skype because today
Yeah,
this
don't
is
worry.
the first time I've ever.
Yeah, don't worry at all. It happens to everybody. It's just trying to get a platform that works for everyone. So we'll know a little bit ahead of time next time that everyone needs a little bit of time if we need to download stuff. But I'd just like to just let you go straight in, Anthony, and just sort of continue where you left off or continue in whatever way you fancy. I'll just let you take the stage, sir.
Okay, well, I mean, do you want me to start from the beginning? The whole relationship between us and Mckamey, or
I think we heard the how the relationship first started off in the first interview with you. It would be great if you could sort of elaborate more on that, and if there was anything specifically with Tennessee you wanted to go into, that would be awesome.
okay, well. If memory serves me correctly, um, we the big falling out, at least on my hand, that ended with in utter disgust was he had someone that I know go through the manor, and on a day that had to have been 100 degrees outside, in a onesie, wore out, and I know how his tricks work. Uh, and then started airing all of their personal issues uh, on Facebook Live in front of his whole audience. And their personal issues are nobody's business. And calling them out on stuff. And to me, that was the end of it for me. I thought it was absolutely disgusting. It was somebody I knew, and I knew about their personal problems, and he basically just put them on blast. And who does that, and why? What purpose does that serve? To make himself look like a good guy? Because he certainly didn't help the matters. All he did was damage them further, to where they have mostly gone dark on the social media end of things. They were repeatedly harassed by his minions, his sycophants. And I was done at that point. And after that, I caught wind of him trash talking us at Transworld. And I went to go say what's up, and he looked like he seen a ghost and took off. Sure as hell wouldn't talk to me, nothing, because I was calling him out on it. And he stormed off like a child that didn't want to take out the trash. And with that exception, I have had zero contact with him.
Is that Russ's sort of main go-to tactic with people that go against
Well,
him?
yeah, because I'm not afraid of him. And I'll walk up and get into it. I would rather do it in person than get in somebody's face in person. Not online, not sending out some, band of sycophants that have zero recognition of cognitive bias. I'm gonna. I'm the guy. I'm sorry. I've got like 4 different messengers going off.
Yeah, don't worry. It's I know the feeling.
People are lighting me up, like trying to communicate with me while I'm doing this. So anybody who's seeing this, hold up. I'll get back to you.
Yeah.
But those things. And then he started spreading things that he knew were false. Not about me, but about someone very close to me. He just, out of the blue, he knew these things were not true. And he ran with it anyway and started calling us sexual predators and everything else. When that's the furthest thing from the truth. And he knew it wasn't true, but he ran with it anyway. And of course, face to face, he'll run like a bitch because that's what he is, a bitch. And there are still people that will believe anything he says, but there are also people that believe the earth is flat and that, so there's nothing to be said about that. The dipshittery, it goes deep. People will always believe him. And there will always be people who have, no critical thinking skills whatsoever. And that's what I see. And for the most part, I have had no contact with him. I have, for me, it's going to be a face-to-face thing. I'm not going to worry about it over the phone. You can be a tough guy on the phone. But, when I'm in your face, that's another story. And that's the way I see it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's why Russ likes to keep everything tight-knit on the internet, where he's safe and secure. And like you say, his online goons can do his bidding. The same
hey,
way.
Ron, she's back now. She closed everything in her background, and she says whenever you're ready.
Okay, no problems. Okay, no problem. Just bear with us. We'll let Anthony finish up when he's good and ready, and then we'll start. If you could get everyone to mute their mics, who's not like Cap, if you could mute your mic, that would be awesome. Just while Anthony's talking, then we got a couple.
Oh no, sorry. I was waiting until you were done. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. No bother, mate. So with Tennessee, Anthony, did you or any of your family ever witness any of the more severe haunts that went on at Tennessee? I know the main meat of it went on in San Diego with a lot of the OG haunt experiences, but the Tennessee one seemed to be more of an endurance test compared to San Diego. If I'm taking a sort of half-educated guess at it, would you have anything to sort of add on what you've seen in Tennessee? If you've seen anything in haunts or anything like that?
Well, as far as what he does, the big things that I saw and have direct knowledge of were what he tried to get us to do to Marissa Phillips, which I stopped. I spoke about that on the last time I was on. And I put a stop to that. And because we didn't know exactly what was going on until I came around the corner and saw it. And I put an end to it immediately. He had her and him and another guy had her in a 55-gallon barrel of ice water and cooking oil And there was some other stuff in it that was harmless but smells like 1,000 skunks died in your septic tank. It's pretty awful. But they were holding her physically. I mean, this was a 300-pound man holding tiny Marissa Phillips down in this water. She couldn't get out. And after she had been exhausted, there was no getting out for her. And he was literally holding her down in there and giving her some kind of interrogation about when he made all the claims of all of his stuff.
Oh, Anthony, you cut out there just for a minute, brother. Just let your connection resettle there for a second, and just pick up where you were there.
Okay.
Yep. All good.
Am I good? Okay. Well, they were holding her down, physically holding her down into this barrel of ice water. Her lips were turning blue, and they were interrogating her about all the claims Russ had made about his ex-actors and Carol stealing from him, when in fact that wasn't even true to begin with, that nobody stole anything from him. But that was what it was about. He had a camera in her face the whole time. The girl's lips were turning blue. And she couldn't get out. She had a 300-pound man holding her down. And that's what I put a stop to and got her out of there.
How long, in your opinion, like how long do you think Russ would have continued that if you hadn't?
As long as it took to get her to say whatever he wanted her to say. I could tell you that when I got wind of what was going on and went back there into that room and saw it, she was turning blue. I mean, that doesn't happen immediately. And take into factor someone small framed as her, she's, a $110 soaking wet, at the most, she tiny little thing. And that ice water, that ain't no joke. You get put in it. So.
I mean, ice water itself, it can make verbal communication very difficult. And if you're freezing and trying to verbally communicate with Russ any form of safe word, I mean, surely there must be a point where a line would be crossed where verbal communication would have just not been able to have happened. I mean, if you understand how the body works with it all.
And I'm no EMT, but when I got to look at her and the look on her face and the tone of her skin, it told me she was in direct physical danger. Like something really bad would have within the next few minutes. So I called that. I pulled that out. I made them pull her out. And that was that. And the other issue was he drugged my cousin behind his truck until my cousin was laid up bedridden for 2 weeks after being drugged by a truck from Russ.
And what do you think about the multiple claims that have come from people saying that Russ doesn't drug people? There's no proof of that. I mean, what were the effects on your cousin?
Oh, well, shall I say? I misspoke. Not drug, but dragged. He wasn't given any kind of drugs. He was dragged behind a truck.
Dragged. Okay, and what was he dragged by? Was he just pulled by people, or what was he?
It was a chain. Well, it was a chain attached to a truck.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, and he was being dragged through gravel, and the guy had no skin on his arms or chest.
Yeah, that's serious. I mean, it's no joke.
He was in bedridden for 2 weeks. His entire upper torso was a scab. It was missing skin, his entire upper torso.
I mean, that's serious injuries. And I don't think anyone who signs up for anything that classes itself as a haunt, I know you don't class yourselves as a haunt, but I mean, this is the narrative that Russ likes to push. that I don't think would anyone expect to be dragged through gravel if you went to a haunt or even an extreme terror experience. I don't think so. I don't think there's any way to safely simulate dragging someone until their flesh comes
It
off.
wasn't a simulation; it was the real thing.
Exactly.
And the difference is, you're talking about speed and time and things like that. It's different if you grab somebody by their ankles and drag them, across the driveway to where you're at a human speed of 2 miles an hour, maybe, versus 30 miles an hour, which I don't know how fast they were going, but it was fast enough to hurt him. You're talking about distance and friction and all that, where sure, you could be dragged by your ankles by a person,
Yep.
across the yard or whatever, and it's not going to hurt. But now you amp that up, you more than quadruple that speed. Now you're getting into some damage.
You're getting into some serious damage, and yeah, I don't think anyone with a rational mind would question the damage that can be caused by that. I mean, it is serious. That's a serious message, if nothing else, from Russ to anyone who would ever go to Mckamey Manor.
That's true, but the people who follow Russ are not reasonable people. They are completely captivated and have zero critical thinking skills and are completely consumed by the confirmation bias. And for whatever reason, it's like they're plugged into the Matrix, man. I've really never seen anything quite like it.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard interesting stories about Russ's followers, and I'm not making any comment on anybody, just in case Russ's lawyers are listening, and it seems like like I'm still trying to get my head around a lot of it, Anthony, and breaking it down into time chunks, I think, is the best way of going forward with this, as we're doing this evening. And hearing what did you say, it was your cousin that was dragged? Is that what you said? Yeah. I mean, that's one of the most severe things I think that we've heard so far. I mean, dunking in water, I mean, that's a serious form of torture as well, the waterboard and all that stuff. But to physically chain someone to the back of a truck and go driving through gravel, is the outcome of that could have been pretty severe. I mean,
it was.
Really, but God knows what he could have been dragged over, what could have been cut off, stuck in him. I mean, it just
and
horrible.
This was at night, so I know their visibility wasn't very good.
No, I can't imagine there's a safe zone in the gravel that Russ has sent out some of the actors to pick through the glass and twigs and shards of metal. Do you know what I mean? I imagine it'll just be any other kind of driveway, gravel path.
And this was the first person to take the Mckamey Manor tour in Tennessee.
He was the first one.
Yes.
That's a way to sort of open the manor with a boom, I guess. I mean, what was he trying to achieve with that, do you think? I mean, was that what was that? Was that because he was related to you, he wanted to push him harder? Was it for the shock after wave of the whole thing? Was it to hype up the lesser quality haunt with some media frenzy? What's your opinion on why that took place? I mean, obviously you can say the easiest guess is to say, oh, well, he did it to make the guy say his safe word. Well, I don't think anyone else has been chained to the back of a truck. So do you think there's anything more to that particular incident?
I think it was and this is just speculation, but I think part of it was to make a guy that big and that tough submit. And I also think part of it was pure reckless ignorance. Because I don't think Mckamey has any forethought going on at all of what could happen. I really don't think he does.
I don't even think he cares, because even if you don't have forethought and you're a bit of a cowboy, surely you should have staff members that are trained in assessing all of these situations prior, of course, but obviously just in case something does go wrong, you would have someone in place, and to not have that is just mind-blowing from not only a liability point of view, but
That's
just from
the
public
only
safety.
form of staff he had was Holly and this kid named Austin, who was, I don't think Austin could tell the truth about much if you tried to shake it up. That guy, from the day I met him, it was like one lie after another trying to look cool. And it was like complete bullshit stories out of this kid who wasn't, but I think he was 18, they said, but he didn't even look that old. And I mean, he tried to tell us he was a bartender and all kinds of other stuff. And I'm like, kid, you ain't even old enough to look at the beer at the corner store. And it was just dumb shit like that he was constantly coming out of this Austin kid's mouth. And I believe he was just trying to impress us, but it didn't work because we're not recording.
Yeah.
And, that was the only people he had. As far as I know what I've seen on the video of like the drag and such. And my cousin is the type of person that we've talked extensively about this, and to paraphrase him, he's like, I signed up and I signed that waiver and it happened and I hate him for it, but I did sign the waiver. And he's not the type of person to go running and telling on somebody. That's just not how he operates. And I mean, the dude he's as tough as shoe leather. Now, whether I agree with him not coming forward or not about it, and because he has the video and pictures to prove all of this, that's his decision, and I can't make that decision for him. He's an adult, and it's his decision to make ultimately.
You could extend the offer of releasing the audio from the video so that he doesn't have to experience the internet having video footage of that happening. If he wanted it to be out there, I would make sure that we just if he wanted it out there, we could strip out the audio so the video would never surface on the internet, but you could have something out there that wasn't so fucking Russ getting a win. Do you know what I mean?
Right. And I agree. I'll let him know, and I'm sure if he's not listening live, he will be listening later.
Yeah.
He's at work right now.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, even if he wanted to write an experience, we can have a voice actor voice it in the videos that we're going to make. The option is there for him in any way that he can imagine or can't imagine to get his side across, but making it as unmarketable for Russ as possible.
Well, he did a live video in the Kate Silva's tour group talking about it the other night.
Oh, why don't you just tell us a little bit about Kate Silvas and this extreme terror experience you and your family run, just for a good 90 seconds at least?
Okay. And I don't come on here to plug Kate Silvas. I feel like
I make you plug Kate Silvas. Like I just so everyone knows, like this, this is never pre-planned. It's just I feel like this is a tiny win. Because, this is Russ's effectively, definitely not a competitor. But if they were legitimate businesses, you would be a competitor. So it's just like a little win for anyone who isn't Russ. Because he's screw that guy.
Well, our Kate Silvas is an extreme terror experience. It's out in the middle of nowhere. And it's 3 hours of your worst fears being spoon-fed to you by force. Now, you always have the option to tap out, to quit at any moment. You say, I quit, show's over, that's it, everything stops, you're safe. We're not going to do anything that actually injures anyone, but that don't mean you won't think we're trying to hurt you when we do it. That's our job. What you're signing up for is to be absolutely terrified.
Yeah.
And we're going to pull out every trick of the trade that we know to do it.
Do you know, there's two things that are super comforting about your business, right? One was when you explained that afterwards you explain what happened and you take people through the magic so that they can kind of disconnect from what just happened. And I'll tell you something else. See, in your videos for your business, you can clearly see you're working and in work mode. And in the video, like when I'm interviewing you, you can see you're normal and in business mode. Russ doesn't have that disassociation at all in his videos between being in the manor and being just normal. And for me, a normal person, it's comforting to see that you aren't lost in a fantasy. Do you see what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, you do. You do. Yeah, we have extensive discussions, and there is no one person in charge at Cada Silva's.
Okay.
You know, we all work together, and it wouldn't be possible without all of us together. And one of our things is somebody always has to make an argument as to what we talk about what we're going to do for each show. Somebody has to make an argument on why it's a bad idea and what can go wrong. And then we try it on ourselves. So we know how bad it sucks. You know, there is no part of Cada Silva's that's going to be enjoyable for anybody that takes the tour. It is utter misery. We're not going to tell you it's fun.
But I think what you're referring to is exactly what everyone would imagine in their head an extreme terror experience to be. I don't think anyone expects to be chained to the back of a car. I don't think anyone expects to get fish hooked or let me finish. Fish hooked to the point where they end up in, you know, hospital or anything like that. I think there's a level of professionalism that you can see that is relevant with yourselves that is completely missing with Russ's whole entire past, present, and future with regards to his haunt, and even his, you know, all these things bleed over into his personal life with, obviously when we've talked to Holly and we've talked to Carol and Lindsay, it's difficult to grasp the length of time this gentleman has been alive, right? But there is just everything he touches seems to just be destroyed in one way or another. And the closer you are to him, the more rooted the destruction is in the person, if that makes sense. You know, at least
nobody sticks around long. Nobody sticks around him long.
Yeah.
And the reasons are, for me, are self-evident.
Yeah.
But I did want to. I lost my train of thought.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Don't worry. Just
go into, like, you know, people try to make people understand what they're signing up for. That it is, you know, we're not here to do it and make a fun experience. It is to be terrifying.
Yeah.
And, you know, but the minute you say stop, it stops and it's over, and that's it. And we take everything and turn it up to 1,000. You know, as far as we're gonna pull out all the tricks of the trade to really scare you. But then at the end, we try and cool you down and show you what we did and what the illusion was. And we hope they don't go and turn around and squeal and tell everybody this is what really happened, when, you know, because that just ruins the surprise for other people.
Yeah, it's like a magician and his tricks.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You can go on and find out. And I take a lot personally. I'm a huge fan of stage magic.
I was going to say it's more of like an illusion, really. It's more like an illusionist is probably a better way of putting it. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
It's not to say you won't come out with bumps and bruises, because you probably will.
Yeah.
Because we will manhandle you, but we do it in a way that we don't hurt you.
Yeah.
To think I'm not going to pick you up by your ankles and shake the change out of your pockets. Oh, I will. You know, that's just part of it. But we're not going to do anything to deliberately injure anybody. And we're always got people watching for safety, looking for something that could go wrong.
Yeah, and that's definitely crucial, and what clearly sets any actual business aside, you know, apart from the manor, because it has been, from far as I can see, Tennessee just looks like a catastrophe in a backyard. Shipping containers and ditches. And we've actually got some pictures that when...
I saw some of them. He built a zip line, and I got to say I'm impressed.
Yeah.
That actually built a zip line. Now, however, at no point does having a zip line have anything to do with a haunted house. They're just two completely different things. And there's plenty of thrill parks and trampoline parks in this area you can go without him airing all of your personal dirty laundry. If you want to do that, well, there's trampoline parks all over the greater Nashville area, and they're a ton of fun. And nobody's going to air your personal dirty laundry to however many sycophants he's got. You know.
And just to talk about the fan base, how do you feel his support is going? Do you think it's teetering off? Do you think it's gaining traction again? What do you think the support is like for Tennessee Russ?
I honestly really don't know. And it's really, for the most part, I don't concern myself with it too much until I'm asked about it. And then I'll give my opinion. Now, we all work at a regular traditional haunted house. And we get a million questions about him, about Mckamey Manor. And the a lot of it is misinformation. But we have spoken the truth when we have the opportunity to. Whether people believe us or not is a whole nother ballgame. But I want to put that into perspective for a minute. When I was coming up in the haunted house business, 30 years ago when I got into it, the big thing to talk about, the hot point subject was the haunted house that was 30 stories tall, that if you made it all the way to the top, you got your money back, but there was like live animals in it and they would push you out a window into a slide, then you'd be out. Well, that was a big urban legend, because think about this. The tallest building in Nashville is only about 30 stories. Now, this thing, and it was an urban legend that went around every major city in America about this legendary haunted house. But anybody with a 30-story building that's going to put a haunted house in it, where would that be?
Yeah.
The whole world would know about it. Where are they advertising?
Yeah, I think you'd notice if a 30-story building just popped up in your local area for sure.
Right, but I equate that. That was a big urban legend, and there was nothing but misinformation. And everybody I ever talked to, either their mother's, cousin's, sister's former roommate, went. And they knew it was real. These people know Russ is telling the truth.
Yeah.
They know he has a 200-yard swimming pool underneath his single-wide trailer. They know they had a 2-mile zip line, and the picture I saw looked more like about 100 feet.
2 miles.
But, right. I saw him actually do a video. Somebody sent it to me of him talking about a 2-mile zip line. Now, there are zip lines out in the mountains that I've seen video on that are a mile or so long. As far as I know, those are the biggest ones in the world. You think if somebody built a 200-yard swimming pool somewhere, people would be talking about it.
Anthony, come on. You'll put it at the top of his 30-story building. You'll have it tucked away somewhere. Come on. Right. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
People will always believe that bullshit.
Yeah.
That will be always. People believe the earth is flat. Some people are just stupid and gullible. And I don't necessarily have all the answers how to change that. It is what it is.
Yeah. Well, just before we move on, is there anything else that stands out in your mind to do with Tennessee that you'd like to just talk about this evening before we see if Jennifer's connection has done any better the second time round? I think there's anything else you want to
I can talk about what we're doing.
Yeah, do it.
We are, after hearing Holly and Carol and Lindsay talk, that hit hard for us. And the number one question we get at Catus Silvas is how somebody wants to be. How can somebody be a guest actor? And we've always just said no. And the big reason is we don't want somebody to come in that just wants to beat somebody up or take advantage of somebody in a vulnerable position. And it's just a no. But we're going to change that. And I made this announcement the other day. We're going to allow guest actors. But there's a process to it. One, we need to do a little screening and conversation with you to make sure you ain't just beat somebody up, because that's not going to work. And the other thing is the cost of it. The cost is a $250 direct donation to the Lawrence County Women's Shelter. They have to go to them and make that donation to them and show us that they made the donation. We're not going to handle the money. We're not going to be the middleman. We'll give you the information you need to get to make that donation, but we are not actually going to accept the money from them.
And are you okay? Are you okay with the contestants doing like a sponsor me to go to this haunted house to raise the money? Are you okay with people kind of doing it that way? Do you mind how the money's sort of pooled together?
No, and this would be when somebody wants to be a guest actor.
Yeah, absolutely.
When they want to be an actor and they're in the role of somebody who is scaring the shit out of them, because we get a lot of people that want to do that. And that's what we require to do that. That's a new thing we're doing because we want to do something. You know, me being on this podcast is great to raise awareness about what this guy's doing, but what are we doing to fix the problem? And this at least helps somebody.
Yeah, I think
that might be in a position that like people like Holly and Carol were in. And, you know, he's not the only person that's had people, that's abused people. There are tons of people out there that are in really bad situations. And if we can do something to help some of them women out. And because we sat around at my house the other night and looked at each other and said, what can we do? What can we do to help the people who have been through things like this? And that's what we came up with, is to allow people to be guest actors as Kay Silvas, so where they're the ones scaring the shit out of other people with our guidance, but they have to make a donation to the women's shelter to do that. We're not doing it to raise any kind of money for us. We're doing it to, they have to donate directly to the women's shelter and show us that they've done it.
Yeah, well, you're getting a big thumbs up from the side chat there on the stream for that. That's awesome, and I think I think as well with the entry fee on that, it'll keep away some of the crazies, and I think you'll filter through a lot of really genuine, and as well, if anything, to come from it for yourselves, you'll experience a whole new perspective with some new actors and. Maybe learn some new tricks, and it'll be awesome.
You're absolutely right.
Absolutely awesome.
And the other thing we're doing, we made an announcement last night. We are partnering up with a couple of the local haunted houses, traditional Halloween attractions. We were out at a place called Malice last night. It's in on the outskirts of Lewisburg, Tennessee. It's actually in Belfast, Tennessee. And we are shooting for a weekend in early December, which I'm thinking is going to be either the December 7th or December 14th. Kay Silvas, the entire crew is coming out there, and we're going to recruit people from other haunted houses. I'm looking at you, Arcs Mortis, you see this. And Slaughterhouse, I'm looking at you guys. For everybody to come out and volunteer, and we're going to open up Malice Haunted Woods for a night. And the admission will be a toy, and we're going to do a toy drive to where it doesn't cost any money to get into the haunted house. You come and donate a toy, and all that will be distributed out through the local charities to underprivileged kids. And our goal is to fill up an entire ambulance full of toys. We're even going to let you get in a coffin and put you in the back of my hearse and drive you around the block for a toy donation. We're accepting no cash that night whatsoever. And people want to come in from out of town and go through the haunted house. It costs a toy to donate.
That's
and we're going to do that. We don't have an exact date yet, but we will by the end of the week, I'm sure. And everybody working on this is going to be a volunteer. Absolutely everybody.
Well, and as soon as you've got dates and information, we'll make sure that we share and plug that as much as we can, because I'm sure a lot of people will be interested to hear more details as and when on that.
Thank you.
No problem.
The other thing I got asked earlier about this is if somebody obviously can't make it out to Malice for this toy drive, well, how can they still donate? And what we say is somebody locally to you is having a toy drive somewhere. Find them, donate to them. Whether it's an angel tree or anything else like that, get a hold of, find out who's donating, who's having a toy drive there, and donate to them. because we know it's no sense in mailing something out to here when you can help your own local community. And so we recommend people who can't come out to the toy drive to just donate something to them locally.
That's a great idea. I think everyone who's been watching this series can at least take part in the toy drive and feel like they're part of it, Anthony. I think that's amazing. And like I say, we'll do absolutely everything to share that information as and when you have it. And thank you so much for kind of doing all of this good from this mess, really.
We're trying.
I think
there are people that have been through way worse shit than we have.
I agree.
And those of us who are in a position to do even the slightest thing to help, that's what we're out to do. And if we can use what little of a voice we have to do something good for other people, then why shouldn't we?
Absolutely, Anthony. And just before we move on, once again, thank you very much for coming on again, Anthony. And like I say, as soon as you have that information ready, we'll get it out. If you want to think about, getting links together and stuff for the haunt and everything, just so we can direct people to you, because I know a lot of people are going to want follow-up information. So if there's a website or anything like that you want to plug that people can find you on, or YouTube or anything like that, just let people know. If there's searches they can do, let them know that too.
Yeah. Well, the big way, where we're most active is the Cadis Silvis Tour Group on Facebook. It's spelled Caedis as a Cadis, and Silvis Silvis.
Awesome.
If you look up the Cadis Silvis Tour Group, we are the most active in that group. And you can reach out to anybody with the last name of Silvis in that group. And, and if you want information, we can get that to you. Whether it's me or Gary or Rhett or Millie or Sam or any of us, we can get that information to you.
Yeah.
With whatever.
That's awesome, Anthony. And like I say, what we'll do is we're going to move on to our next guest. But thank you very much once again, Anthony, for joining us. And just we'll keep in touch throughout the process, and just let me know if there's anything else you want to share.
All right. Well, I appreciate you. I'm going to go ahead and hang up this thing and watch on you.
All right, brother. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you. All right, Anthony. So once again, Anthony just sharing his experiences with us, and just before we bring on our next guest, Jennifer, just to sort of talk to us about her experiences. I just want to thank everyone that's been putting in super chats and everything like that. That is great, and everyone and the tipping and the support. I can't tell you the difference it makes to this being my job. So I really do appreciate it. And I think what we'll do is we'll just sort of dive straight in. We'll see if Jen's camera is okay, and if her mic's okay, if she wants to just ping them on, and we'll see how she's doing. Jennifer, are you still there?
I am here, and hopefully it's working better. I was able to see the entire left segment. Is this any better for you guys?
It's a little bit fuzzy, right? But if you've got anything open, any tabs or anything like that, just close down the interweb, and we'll see how you get on. But rather than wait for it to fall apart, we'll just jump straight in, and you can tell us who you are and tell us your experience. And like I say, feel free to keep your camera on or off depending on how you feel it's going to perform. So welcome to the show, first of all, for the second time, and hopefully this one will work out a little better for you. Just a big thank you once again to everybody who's out there watching and sharing, and who's in support of this, and who is really snapshot there. I'll close that for you.
I didn't mean to do that.
Don't worry. Who's in full support of all this, and so once again, thank you, Jennifer, and tell us about yourself and your experience.
All right. Well, I'm hoping that this stays on this time. I do want to quickly say, while Anthony was on, it got me to thinking about how Russ markets his haunt. You see, that's what I was expecting whenever I originally signed up for the haunt. I was expecting something like what Anthony was describing that he does. But Russ doesn't exactly, he's not truthful. We've all seen that, and I don't think that's a secret. But anyways, back to who I am. I'm Jennifer. As I was saying earlier, I had found out about Mckamey Manor whenever he had his very first haunt, and I am what you had called a close call. I was actually 2 days out from going to the manor, and I'm very thankful that I wisened up a little bit before that happened. When I had first found out about the haunt, it was because I like adrenaline, I like horror, I like occult. I just like that kind of weird stuff. And I think that that's what attracts a lot of people to these things, is they want to feel that adrenaline in that horror moment. So I ran across it again back in April. But I had started a new job, and I was like, I thought to myself that there was no way on this planet that Russ Mckamey would let me go through the haunt, because he's supposedly so big on doing background checks, and he's supposedly so big on mental health. I thought, if I openly tell him that I have depression and anxiety, and these are actually diagnosed by a doctor, I don't want to belittle mental health at all, because it is a serious thing that is already belittled so much in pretty much anywhere you look. I was actually surprised at the first conversation I had with Russ. He was saying a lot of very uncomfortable things to me, which I will get into later. But just flat out, the first thing that caught me off guard was when he told me, "Oh, you sound like a fine person. I don't need to see your medical background. I don't need to do your screening." And that is weird to me, because that's the number one thing he says he does to all of his guests, is he checks their background and makes sure they're okay to go through the haunt. And I will flat out say, if I were running a haunt like that, I wouldn't have allowed myself to go through. I do also want to add on that when I first started talking to Russ, it was when him and Holly had just split. I think it was either the day of or the day after. And he was trying to garner sympathy through that, and being like, "Oh, the haunt is all I have left. I really want somebody to come down here this weekend." And I told him repeatedly that, I just got a new job. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to, but I was willing to go ahead and try to make it work. I don't know how much of this you want me to go ahead and say. Do you want me to go ahead and just?
I think you're doing great. Absolutely, yeah. No,
okay.
I'm trying to change up my tactics a little bit with regards to how I do this whole process. So I'm just letting people go through their story naturally, because I am coming into this quite late on, and it's good for people to just do it in their own pace. But yeah, absolutely. Tell us everything, and just carry on.
So during that conversation, he told me a lot of things, which at the time I believed. He had told me that he was an ex-military interrogator, that he uses hypnotism and MK Ultra to kind of help him with the haunt. And he also told me that he does use substances. Now I have been good over somebody else I spoke to that is probably not true. And I want to say too that some of these things I'm going to get into are just my opinion and my own personal thoughts based on what I've seen and what other people have told me. And I will say that the people I have been speaking to are reliable, and they are, they're in the community. But I'm just trying not to bring too many people into my story that really don't need to be brought into it, I guess.
Yeah, no problem.
Hey, Ron.
Okay.
Yes, Cap, sorry.
Marissa Phillips is available as well.
Okay, no problem. No problem. Is Josh able to just, if you facilitate all that through Josh for anyone that's able to come on, that would be great. Josh, can you just verbally confirm that you're still here?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, nice one. Okay, sorry about that, Jennifer. Yeah, thank you,
yeah,
Cap.
okay.
No problem. Yeah, just carry on. We're getting your audio through a lot better than your camera, so it's up to yourself if you want to keep it on or if you want to turn it off. It's completely up to yourself. Just to try and improve your audio a little bit, because that's the important thing. So yeah, there we go. Let's try it like this for the next part.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and turn my camera off then. It's not going to do any good if people can't really see anyways. And you're right, it is about the story, and if I can help one other person who has gone through this as well, that's all that matters to me. So back to what I was saying, like him and Holly had just split, and I was actually feeling bad for Russ, and I was like, you know what, it sounds like having somebody there would do him some good, and I wanted to try to make that happen for him. And I guess at the time I was excited about, what he was saying, as far as like, this is a great haunt or whatever. But I want to put in there too that he kind of wanted to use me to turn Justin Wolf into an example. Like he straight up told me that he set me up to succeed. He wanted me to show up Wolf. And I'm not proud of, at that time, I was part of the group that was a little bit of a bully towards him. I have made amends with Wolf over that, so everything's good there. And he does know that I am talking about this tonight, so that's all fine. But Russ was pretty much, making fun of him over the phone. And it was just kind of weird and interesting how he went from, oh, woe is me, Holly left me, to you're going to do this and that and it's going to be great, to, oh, well, the haunt is all I have because Holly left me, and just going back and forth like that. But the other thing that was really uncomfortable to me was, at first he seemed like he was okay with my husband tagging along. Later on in that conversation, though, he was like, actually, I don't think you should bring your husband, because sometimes partners freak out over what they see their other half go through. And I don't know why I didn't think at the time that, there was something creepy about that until I got off that phone call and was really able to digest what he was saying. But my husband had even made the comment about how long that phone call had gone. And it went on for at least 2 hours or more. And for an interview phone call, that does seem like a bit much whenever you're not going to go and do a background check on somebody and just base it off what you hear over the phone. Like I said, I'm just really glad that I was able to catch on to what was going on, because I could have potentially put myself in a very bad situation. Now, the part that I am just kind of expressing my own opinion on is the fact that after me, there were 2 other girls who went through the haunt, in which it appeared that Russ was trying to make a relationship with. When he found out that I was not going to make it to the haunt, he started harassing me privately. I will say there was no open public harassment towards me, other than the fact that the group and himself made it seem like I was more isolated and nobody really cared about what I had to say anymore. And that was strange to me. But as far as actual harassment and bullying in the group, no, there was none of that towards me, other than privately. He actually messaged me on Holly's account at one point in time, which I found very strange, because I thought they were supposed to be split up. And I didn't really know what to say, and I kind of freaked out, and I actually blocked that account. To begin with, I messaged Russ on another email account other than what he was sending to other people because his internet was acting up or something. But what also didn't sit right with me was the fact that how can you get an email through one email address but not another? Your internet, I mean, it's going to work or it's not going to work, as we have found out with my internet tonight. So I don't really know what that was all about, but he was trying to correspond with me in ways that he hadn't through other participants. And the night I was supposed to go live in my little like onesie thing, I couldn't do it. I felt like there was something very wrong with that situation, and I didn't go through with it. And like I said, I'm glad that I didn't, because I don't know what would have happened. I don't know the facts between the two ladies who were after me, but in my opinion, Russ seems like he might have some predatory tendencies towards adult females. I can't speak for the other accusations that have been said, and I can't speak for what truly goes through this man's mind. But based on what I have seen personally and firsthand, that is what I believe and what is my opinion.
Okay, now just in case there's anyone else who's currently going through the process, so to say, for Mckamey Manor, what would you say was the standout warning signs? If you could just pinpoint 2 or 3 things, just in case those things stand out for anyone else that might be currently waiting in line.
Well, as bad as the whole like him not wanting me to bring my husband thing was, I think the number one thing that really stood out to me was the fact that he was so willing to rush somebody through who openly admitted to having mental health issues. That was not okay. He didn't know the extent of my depression or anxiety, and he didn't have a doctor's note giving him any kind of information behind that. How did he know that I wasn't going to get in a room somewhere and just completely have a mental breakdown and then deal with PTSD or something afterwards because of what he did? That was the number one thing that was like, wait a minute, something's not right. And then again, the second one was that he told me that my husband should not arrive. And backing up a little bit, I didn't mention this, but back in May, he even told me that there was no $20,000, that he would never let anybody get close to getting $20,000 if it even existed. And he literally just moves the goalposts around to where he is aggressive with somebody as he needs to be, pretty much, to make them tap out. And I saw that with Wolf's tour. Wolf came to put on a show, and Russ didn't. That is why he wanted me to make an example out of Wolf and show him up. That is not okay. You don't do that to somebody. You don't just assert yourself over somebody for the sake of being in control of somebody. There is something wrong with that. As Holly and Carol have openly said in the past, he would say things like, if you don't do this, you don't love me. Well, I made the connection that he says things like that in his open group. He says things along the lines of, if you don't do this, you aren't serious about the tour. And that is a sign of narcissism and a sign of control to a dangerous degree.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. And I mean, these are patterns that are emulated across other contestants that we've talked to, and obviously Russ's past relationships as well. So, you know, you're getting a lot of support in the side chat for sharing your story. And, you know, just, is there anything else that you want to sort of put out there to Mckamey Manor contestants, or anything else that you feel is relevant from your story that ties in with Tennessee as a whole?
Other than like what we've seen with the pictures of what he says is this haunt, there's been rumors about like him driving people around in circles just to make them think they're going somewhere. There was a situation in which he was talking to me about on our phone call, as to why he doesn't use live actors anymore. And I don't know if a lot of people know that yet or not, that it's just him now. He doesn't use actors anymore. And I don't know if it's because of the falling out he had with Carol or what, but he said that it was because the police had told him that if they had seen him drag somebody through the van or whatnot, they would have like acted on it and shot him. He used much more descriptive language than that, which I'm not personally okay with. And during my phone call with him, he was saying things that was very uncomfortable to me as well. And I think that some of those things could be a little bit triggering, and I don't want to go too into detail, but it kind of goes along with what I feel could have happened had I gone to that haunt. I would to also say, though, to anybody who has gone to haunt, don't let Russ take away your voice. Don't let him make you feel like you have to be silenced, because the only way that this will change is if everybody comes together and puts in their own story, no matter how big or how small. That's why I'm here. Even though I don't have the face-to-face experience, if we as a community can help somebody else from being hurt mentally or physically, I feel like it's very important to know that you are going to be okay to speak up. Of course, I understand trauma, and I would never push somebody to do something if they're not comfortable with that. But I don't want people to feel like they can't because Russ will do something to harm them. Russ is a bully. We have seen this, and if you're comfortable speaking out, I feel like this is a great platform to do so. I feel like he has taken too much control from too many people, and we can't let it keep happening.
Absolutely, I 100% agree with you, and you know, I appreciate what you say about the platform. We're trying to do our best to just shed light on the whole story. It's massive, and you know, thank you so much, Jennifer, for sharing all that and for coming on. And you know, if anything comes back into your head, just make sure you stay in touch with us, and we'll certainly make sure if you've anything else to say, you get given a chance to do so.
I definitely will. And there something I just thought about, because I remember Anthony was talking about seeing somebody like go through the tour and her lips turn blue. I actually saw that as well on one of his lives. This was around the time that I had started backing up a little bit and being like, oh wait, something's wrong here. Contestant after me, I saw him like full on waterboarding her, and her lips were turning purple, and that was scary to me too. And he says he doesn't waterboard, but I've seen it. Like, this is not a rumor. I have seen it on his lives in his private group. He does. I was going to say something else, but it seems like the losing train of thought thing here is kind of contagious.
Don't worry. I think a common theme that's showing up is Russ's use of water as a device that leaves no marks, shall we say. It's a very interesting theory to go down for sure, because temperature, being dunked in it, waterboard, and all these things are common forms of torture. So, but listen, Jennifer, thank you so much for joining us, and we will hopefully hear from you again.
All right, and thank you so much for having me. And I don't have like anything pulled up, but you said that I'm getting a lot of support, and I appreciate everybody's support who has been showing that. And just for everybody who's supporting this platform in general, it's a great cause. To Anthony, who is doing the other haunt, thank you for using your power for good instead of evil. And I think that's a good spot for me to go ahead and let you get on to your next guest.
No problem. Well, thank you very much. And what we're going to do is we've just hit the hour mark. I'm going to just quickly give you guys this screen here, and I'm going to go and grab our other guests. So give me a second while I do this. and I do this. And if Josh, if you're there, if you could hop on for us. How you doing? It was just to see who was lined up for coming on next, and if you could ask everyone who's in Skype just now, if you could type your names, because it's just Skype IDs that are coming up. So if you guys could type your names for me so I know who everybody is, that would be great. And yeah, just there's a few other people already, so I just wanted to make sure everybody got an opportunity to come to the platform. But as we're doing that, I will just do the YouTuber thing, and just remind everyone, if possible, to please subscribe to the channel. There's a link in the description as well to my second channel. We do a lot of community stuff and a lot of stuff that's less stressful. More of the fun side. So if you want to come and be involved in that, please do so. I explained the other night that we've set up this new streaming format for trying to avoid the super chats and YouTube taking 40%. It's a way for us little smaller channels to stay afloat. So everything that's been coming in, I can't tell you how much I appreciate. Please check out the Patreon. Please check out the merch store. Okay, Marissa Phillips, and Marissa Phillips is ready. Josh, you want to tell us a little bit about Marissa, or is that somebody that is coming on this evening? I've no problem with that. I just want to make sure I'm bringing on the right people. Okay, awesome. Awesome. Okay, well, Marissa Phillips, I will Skype call you in a minute. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start a new Skype call just so I know who I'm pulling in. So I'll call yourself and Kat back right now. Yeah, no, it's okay. It's okay. Oh. Yeah, no, it's okay. It's okay. I figured it out now. I figured it out. Sorry about that. It's okay. I'm just adding. It just took a minute for Skype to update with everybody's information, so I can see who Marissa is now, and we should be contacting her right now. So I just want to say once again, 473 people out there watching. Thank you, everybody, once again for supporting this entire journey. So it means a lot to us all that you guys are enjoying this. So Marissa, I think you have successfully made it. How are you?
I'm gonna do my best. I think it would be a little easier if you just asked me questions.
Okay, sure. If you feel more comfortable, you can turn your camera off. I don't want you to feel like there's any pressure to be on camera, or if you feel like you're getting emotional, we can stop for a minute. This is all at your own pace. There's no rushing, and if I in my uneducated way on the subject matter, touch on any topics or ask any questions in a generalized fashion that touch on things you don't want to talk about, just make sure you let me know. Don't want you to feel uncomfortable or anything. So do you want me to put you back on camera, or would you rather just remain off?
I think I think I'd like to be on camera so people can read my body language and
No problem.
know that I'm trying to be honest.
No problem at all. Well, what we'll do is we'll just jump straight in as we always do. I'm just going to adjust the presentation window on the stream. So just give me 1 second, because I'm new to this software. There we go. And there we are. Okay, so Marissa, thank you very much. And again, you look nervous, and I know it's not easy for a lot of people to talk about these things. So, what we've been doing with everyone is just treating the situation as if I don't know who you are and how you tie into the whole Mckamey Manor story. So, if you could introduce yourself and maybe start off with what drew you to the manor and your first experience and how it all played out for you.
Well, my name is Marissa Phillips. I'm kind of just a boring, dorky girl from Woodland Park, Colorado. I work as a drafter, or I did. I found Mckamey Manor on YouTube, and actually, I had pretty much made up my mind to do the tour before I even knew about the group and the whole community or mob associated with that. And a lot of it was I did see all the speculation and rumors and stuff. Like, I was looking at the movies, and on one hand, I thought they were amazing. I mean, look, they're horribly edited and the camera work is sketchy, but Russ has made some pretty cool fucking movies. They're ridiculous. So I love the movies, but I also was calling bullshit. And at a certain point, I was all like, you know what? I'm just going to take this. I'm going to find out the truth. And then my plan was actually to expose everything I found out to one of my favorite YouTubers at the time who did like deep web content. His channel has since been deleted, but and that obviously didn't happen anyway. So I guess there's that. Just kind of an adrenaline junkie and curious.
Yeah, so I think all of us can agree that when we all seen Russ's movies back in the day, we all kind of got sucked into it. I mean, it looked like a theatrical experience. You know, I don't think, I mean, I never believed those were real pliers in people's mouths or anything like that, or, you know, the big drill and all that. You could see what it was. And it sucked me in as well. I mean, I think I binge watched his videos for days. And that's because it's the same thing that makes you look when you drive past a road accident. It's that same part of your brain that sucks you into Mckamey Manor videos. So whether you were an adrenaline junkie or not, I think there is a lot of us who've been sucked into the context and the look behind the curtain of the unknown. So I don't think anyone could criticize you for that. But so take us.
And just to add to that, I also have a background in performance, in acting and magic. I was a professional magician's assistant. I had it was very successful, but it was a professional show. So I had that extra love for performance. I still do.
Absolutely. There's been a lot of people even just talking about other haunts since we've in our community since we started this series, just discussing how much they'd like to try the acting or do the acting roles and all this kind of stuff, and on various levels of haunt, you know. And I think it does appeal to a lot of people who are creative and do enjoy theatrics and the comforts of the safety, if that makes sense. Yeah, I can move closer to the mic. Sorry, I know people are talking about the volume. Hang on a second. Let me just prop this up a bit. There we go.
Like the holy grail for haunt acting is to be able to scare the shit out of somebody without having any props. So I do get slightly annoyed when people talk about the lack of things that Russ currently has. Last time I saw it in the Tennessee or Huntsville hunt, and even in the San Diego shows, there wasn't a whole lot of props. The guy, you cannot deny that kind of talent. I wish I was that talented. It's unfortunate everything else that comes along with that talent.
Okay, and do you want to, before we just jump into to all of that, let's touch on your first experience. Let's take it from when you got accepted. How did the acceptance happen, and what subsequently followed that first experience? If you don't want to talk about that, just let me know. I don't want you to feel like, again, I don't want you to feel like I'm touching on things you don't want to talk about. So
I'm really excited about this. It seems like everybody is kind of coming forward and sharing their trauma, and the idea that maybe at the end of this we can all leave better and like just let go of some of that I really hope that happens. And so I do want to mention, I'm not going to say anybody's names, but a lot of people, it's not just Russ who has hurt people. It's not just Russ who has caused all of this. We've all been a part of the mob and part of the lies. That being said, I told you I pretty much signed up for the tour and sent an email through the website before I even knew about the Facebook group. I was directed to join the Facebook group, and pretty much immediately you get mobbed, you get harassed online by a whole bunch of people. I just kind of accepted it as a part of the tour. The unfortunate thing is that didn't seem to ever end after the tour. And the big one is just being called a mole. Like, dude, I was never even involved in this. I don't know any of you people. I don't know.
Before
you even talk to anybody.
Who was making accusations about being a mole? Where does that come from? And again, I have no point of reference, so I only asked for better understanding. That's the only only reason I asked. So what was who was making accusations about being a mole?
Kind of everybody, and I would call, we have kind of 3 or 4 levels here, people who are directly working with Russ in person to plan the haunt or the tours. The people who are like online admins and who kind of help him organize all the online stuff. And then just kind of the general rabid fans. I mean, I got it from all directions. And the actors would message me and, give me homework assignments or just general kind of harassment, trying to scare me a little bit. But it's kind of impossible to know who's a real actor and who's not, who's just fucking with you online. I don't know. And I'm not particularly mad about all of that. That's just kind of part of the experience, I think. Again, the problem I kind of have with it in retrospect is never stop. Like, when's my fucking tour over?
So, how many tours have you gone through?
So I did 2 in San Diego, and I did. I've also done 2 in Tennessee. The first one I did in Tennessee was a one-of-a-kind show. That's the one where Anthony was talking about earlier, where I know I was being asked a lot of questions, that it was cold as hell. It was extremely cold. It was awful. And then my last tour, I performed extremely poorly at that tour. That was also a partner tour. I got to do that with my best friend. But I blame it partially on everything else I had been through. But I was in extremely poor mental and physical health. I fainted pretty early on. Yeah, it didn't go very well. But overall, sorry, short answer, 4 tours.
Okay, so can you, if you can, do you feel that Anthony was right to step in? Do you feel like Russ was pushing you too far in the situation that Anthony was describing to us?
I have to take responsibility for not calling the safe word. I was given a safe word. I believe they would have stopped had I said that. I also have to admit, kind of when you go through that much shit all at once, your mind kind of blocks out just a lot of stuff. So I don't think I said the safe word around that time, but I was feeling very close to it. I wanted to do my best.
Did you feel that when you were in that water, whether you were saying the safe word or able to say the safe word, did you feel that if you had pushed yourself too far, the team would be able to identify that and pull you out if anything lasting was going to happen? Or do you think they would have allowed it to go too far for something medical to be undone? Do you think that the skill set was there for them to observe any real danger that you were in? Because it doesn't sound like the staff could have identified, even if you had been pushed too far, whether or not you were able to speak or were of sound mind after being in freezing water. I mean, for me, that's the question, is if Anthony hadn't stepped in, what would have been the line if you were unable to say those words?
Anthony did step in. Russ had some kind of personal vendetta. I'm not even sure what it was in retrospect, because I know he was questioning me. I was being put in a position where I had to defend people I didn't even know, or I was accused of like colluding with people I didn't even know. I think Russ would have pushed that as far as he could to get the answers he wanted. And interrogation work, I did confess to things. I believe I did. I believe I confessed to things that weren't true, just to make it stop. I was being monitored by at least 3 different individuals. I believe maybe one of them stepped out occasionally, but I believe I was being monitored by 3 different individuals. I don't think I would have been caused long-term harm. I think one of them, Russ, I mean, I do have to say, like, name one person in the world who has seen this many people, like, at their limit, at, you know, that terrified. I mean, nobody in the world has, except Russ and maybe, like, you know, the top FBI interrogator. I don't think Russ would have let anything, I don't think he would have let it go that far. I'm thankful somebody stepped in.
Okay.
I should have, I'm still responsible though. I believe I was able to still talk, and I should have called the safe word, or maybe, you know, let go of my competitiveness. Maybe I should have called it.
Maybe somebody was coming in and out of the room. Maybe you were in and out of consciousness. It doesn't sound... It sounds awful, and it sounds like something that if anyone went through, they would have issues piecing it together. But certainly from what you're saying, it sounds like it backs up what Anthony was saying. And who knows, everything that I'm asking you is simply just us having a conversation. So for me, it's questions I feel that need to be asked, Marissa, because I think a lot of people, especially when simple terms like a haunt are thrown around, it paints a very different picture of the reality that's being painted over the last week of Mckamey Manor. So how are you feeling? Do you feel okay? Are you feeling...
I am really, really nervous, but I'm okay.
Okay, no problem.
I guess I got a little embarrassed. One of my favorite YouTubers just, like, I don't know. One of my favorite YouTubers said something nice to me, and so that was...
well, that's always a good day. That's always a good day. But what? Okay, so like I say, take us back to your first Tennessee experience. We're going to do a whole San Diego week as well, and we'll definitely have you sharing experiences there. But you know, you talked about the water experience, and you talked about how you fainted in the next experience. What happened that caused that reaction in you the second time round?
I don't think it's a secret, though I don't like brag about it, but I have a pretty severe eating disorder, and, you know, kind of getting all of the attention and like all these extra pictures and video taken of me maybe triggered my vanity. And so I mean, when you starve for long enough, you kind of do get like an adrenaline high. And so I had this stupid idea that, you know, I'd get that anorexia high before I went into the tour, and I'd be able to just kill it. Just, you know, I'm not sure how to explain that mindset, but and I was, Russ asked me to give a doctor's note. I did provide one 2 different times for him, so he had an updated one. But it's common for, it's a very deceptive disorder, so that never showed up on my doctor's note. I don't know, did that explain it? That's why I fainted. And plus, you know, I'm in Colorado. I'm used to like the cold, I like the mountain air, the humidity, the heat. It got me. And I was thinking I'd starve myself for, I mean, a good 48 hours before that.
Okay, so you're just taking responsibility for that entire scenario then. I'm from what I'm hearing from.
Only Russ would have known.
Yeah, it wasn't because somebody.
I had told Russ about it before.
Yeah.
It's on me.
Okay. Okay, sure. Well, anything else that ties in with Tennessee that you think is relevant that you would like to put across? Now, Marissa, please understand, when we get to the San Diego week, we will dive in to those stories, and we will have you back. But I'm glad that at least we corroborated what Anthony was saying. I'm glad that you appreciate what happened and Anthony got you out of that situation. Tell us a little bit more about how you feel the haunt hasn't ended for you.
Regular harassment, and I don't want to just say fuck the newbies, but like every Halloween it comes up again and I have to answer the same stupid questions again. And then I just get these random messages from people I don't even know, and like, they're either overly complimentary or like just full of vitriol, and I hate it. And you know what, it's not gonna end, because all like the news, like these radio shows who just have like their stupid morning thing, Mckamey Manor is going to constantly come up on like their little I don't know, like quick little fun little news facts for Halloween. So this is going to keep going forever. I left social media for a long time, and
It's all right.
I met some really good friends in the haunt, and I'm like terrified to even like open Facebook or talk to them sometimes.
Just take a minute, don't worry. Yeah, I think a lot of this process has been hard and impacted everyone differently. I know you're getting a lot of support in the side chat from people, so if you want to take a minute, just feel free to do so. It's completely understandable, so don't worry.
I did take a couple just little notes of things I wanted to say.
Okay.
I think I already mentioned that I love the performance side of it. I love Russ's movies. As an artist and performer, damn it, I just wish he could have tempered that better. But so the Tennessee haunt he had, I fainted and I didn't do very well, but I did try to rally and give it a try. Yeah, it was a lot of screwing around in the backyard, but it's him, it's the acting, it's what they're able to make you believe, and it's still magic. I hate when people just say that, oh, it's bullshit and he has nothing. He has his creative mind. As long as Russ is alive, there will be a haunt. And as long as there's other people, there will be an audience for it. And so I just have a lot of respect for that. I also do want to say that if you look at other videos and stuff with me, I'm passionate about this. Part of me loves this haunt. I have maintained the illusion. I've told lies and I've hyped it up because I believed in it. I think I'm done believing in it now, but it's also like, how do I give up this thing? They shaved my fucking head, okay? I got this fucking eating disorder for this haunt. I can't just let it go. And so again, it was nice to hear Jen kind of talk about her experience and being asked to play a role. He has a narrative in his head. He's a movie maker, not really a haunt giver. This is a movie experience. And then it kind of in terms of all the haunt, you're talking about how water is kind of an effective way to get to somebody without leaving marks. I just want to put out there that different actors kind of had their signature moves. And so when you see different results leaving, it's because they interacted with different actors.
Now, this is something that we're going to touch on a little bit more about how Russ isn't the only one who's involved in a lot of the things that went on in the manor. And I know Russ is flying solo right now, and I know probably throughout your haunts you've experienced actors and things like this. And we are going to touch on that. But was there anyone you know, you said there was a couple of other people there observing you when you were in that tank of water. What was your experiences with other actors, and how do you feel they play a response? How do you feel? Where do you feel their responsibility falls in all of this? Do you think that Rush should be entirely to blame for everything that's going on, or should we be pointing the fingers at everyone that's involved? So tell us a little bit about your.
It's a dangerous game we're playing. This is supposed to be pushing the limit. So I would say I've interacted with actors who treated me badly, ignored things they should not have ignored, and just fucked up. But I forgive them. I didn't know what I was signing up for. Some of them, it was their first time doing it.
Well, you've just said that it's an intense experience, Marissa, and if it's their first time doing it, do you really feel that a live haunt is the place for someone to be getting their training, perhaps, or perhaps being broken in for doing haunts? I mean, do you not think that with the most extreme haunt that there should be a lot of rigorous training, and a lot of it should stem with a heavy focus on safety, and especially with the waterboarding and the things that are going on with regards to torture and all of that. I mean, again, thank you very much, Anonymous. And that to me is the big question. A lot of people want to brush past the actors, but I think we need to focus a little bit here. And you know, during your first Tennessee trip, before you were put in that van, can you tell us a little bit more about what went on?
Just a lot. Kind of the online harassment that kind of worried me up. I did meet with a couple of the actors, so I got to see them as real people and not characters. They told me my head was not going to be shaved, which that wasn't quite true. But I don't know, part of the mind game. I'm not too mad about it. So Anthony was talking about kind of the illusion, and you know, we're making the parallel with magic shows. A lot of this stuff, I mean, it's stupid, simple little things that create kind of an amazing illusion. For a lot of these little illusions that they're pulling off, I don't know if you really need like hardcore training for that. I think just some common sense and people who are genuinely good can pull that off just fine. There's more complicated stunts. I think it's been mentioned publicly, so I'll say it, but I was at one point pepper sprayed. I don't think they tested that. I don't think it's smart of them to do that. That was a fuck up. But it's okay. I'm okay. They're okay. I know they're real people, and so I can forgive them. I really want to forgive Russ, but the way he acts, I don't know if he's a real person. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, so for your first time in Tennessee, was the whole experience you in a tank of water, or was there anything more to your experience there?
There was a lot more, and I gotta say, like, probably the worst things that have ever happened to me in a haunt happened on that tour, but that was also the most amazing tour. They did a lot of planning, they did a lot of cool stuff, really cool illusions, really thoughtful. I've never had a tour that good. It was amazing.
And are you able to elaborate? Are you able to sort of elaborate on what those things were?
There was a large group of actors, and I feel like that's a big thing. I missed that Russ kind of really didn't have any actors anymore. I mean, they add that magic to it. And
was this in Tennessee, or was this San Diego with the big group of actors?
So the one I'm talking about in particular is Tennessee. And
okay.
I it's a little bit weird because, again, it was a one-off show. I believe it was Russ's first tour, but I also know he was working with other people, or a haunt that's no longer connected. So I feel like it's a little unfair to like judge any of these people based on that one tour. It wasn't one-off, but it was.
Okay.
Sense.
It does. But like I say, for myself, it's more about the goings on, and if there's anything you can tell us about that haunt, what went on prior to you being needing to be physically rescued by Anthony.
I was in the tank after my head was shaved.
Okay.
Before my head was shaved, there's several things that happened, but I was kind of tied up by my hair in this large room. At one point, that's when I was pepper sprayed in the face. That was, again, fucking awful. They had kind of like one of the actors had like picked on my kids or kind of brought my family into it. And so like that made me all emotional, like crying, sobbing mess. I had a whole thing of nasty cigarette butts poured all over me. I think I might have eaten some worms or dirt or cigarette. Well, I did eat all of those things during that tour. I think all that happened before I was in the tub. I'm sorry, like, again, the timeline's like a little fuzzy.
My mic. Yeah, I'm sorry. No, there's nothing. I'm not setting you up for anything or anything like that. I'm really, like I say, I'm coming in Mckamey Manor lore novice. So for me, it really helps to understand what you went through, how much you were broken down before you were put in the water, and it helps form a picture in my mind. So I'm not trying to make you paint any false narrative of anything. I'm just, for me, it just helps. And it sounds like you went through something way beyond what anyone else would expect, but it sounds like that's what you were there for. You know, maybe things got taken too far. Maybe the harassment and what went on afterwards, accusations left, you know, that you were talking about, they're not what you would expect. But I mean, you've been through 4 times and you've obviously had a rich history with Mckamey Manor. And now you've turned your opinion completely round. And is that just based off of the after? No, you've not. You've not changed.
I've tried to mention it here and there, but there are certain things I do trust Russ Mckamey for. He's seen these people through extreme situations. I truly admire him for his, I mean, Jesus Christ, think about all the thousands of people he's brought together, for better or worse. Name somebody with that kind of power. I don't think I will ever be that successful in anything I try to do.
How do you feel? How do you feel that statement reflects against his daughter and ex-partners expressing the concern for his mental health, and their that gentleman then subsequently being in charge of people in tanks of water?
It's truly sad that his talent is ruined by his mental health. But I'm a little crazy too. Like I have agency. I'm a grown ass adult. I also have an eating disorder, and I get a little crazy about that. I can see why people tried to fix me. They're all really good answers, you know?
Yeah. No, it just for me the big part in this is mental health revelations and looking back, how people would have felt if that was shoved in their face then. I'm sure people wouldn't have put themselves through this if they'd known the extent of what allegedly is the extent, I should say, from what the closest people that have ever been in Russ's life.
I don't know. It's a lot. I mean, I would say the personal interaction, not just with Russ, but kind of, it's the stuff after the tour that
also
really ruined it for me.
I would like to say I completely and 100% agree that the illusion side of Russ and the creative side it has to be acknowledged, you know, for what he can create in someone's mind is amazing. So I don't want you to feel like this is just a one-sided thing where I'm picking at you for things. So, I mean, I like I say, I completely agree. For me, the only reason I know who Russ Mckamey is because of the massive explosion about 4 or 5 years ago on YouTube. It just seemed to just explode. So I'm not trying to pick holes in anything, or I'm not trying to make you feel like I'm pushing you one way or another with that. So I just wanted to make that clear. So the hunt in Tennessee, there's a big difference in the quality, so I've heard, with regards to props and experience and all the rest. That's again where you were saying that Russ's skill set shines, because it's harder to create the illusion when it's just one man or limited funds. So I understand all of that.
That said, I guess compared to strictly like his Tennessee yard hunt,
Yeah.
I would say it's not a great substitute for what he was able to do in San Diego, especially my first tour. My first tour in San Diego, I'll keep it brief, but he had some of his best actors. I was really lucky to get to experience that. The second one, his actors left. He had one actor there, but it wasn't the same. The actors really bring so much to the table. I wish he could get along with fucking people well enough to, when he works with people, it is amazing. It's great.
Well, if any of those people are out there, please reach out to me, because none of you have. So please feel free to form a queue of Russ supporters. I'll happily put on a "This changed my life, Russ Mckamey is the man" night. I'm wanting to show all sides, so I'm happy to do that. And we're actually going to have a member of his current team come on and talk to us after yourself. So if there's anything else you want to touch on this evening, Marissa, with regards to Tennessee, please feel free to do so. Understand, and I hope you feel safe, and the nerves weren't too much that you might want to come back and talk about San Diego. And the platform is here for you. If you want to connect with us on Discord, we can put you in touch with some people, so that if talking about this is triggering or is affecting you in any way, we can at least have a couple of ears ready to sort of handle that at whatever time. If you feel like that would be something you could benefit from, I'd happily extend the team's aftercare to that for you as well, 100%.
I really appreciate that. Gosh, there's kind of a lot. I think it's kind of hopeless, but it sure is an intoxicating thought to think that, God, maybe after this, this is finally where Russ fixes himself, where Russ can be the best Russ he can be. And then, more importantly, I think is, I have this recording of Russ telling me, "You're going to have to pick a side, Marissa." And I hate that. But it's not just Russ who's done that. It's all sorts of people here. And I don't think we have to pick sides. There's a lot of people I really want to be friends with and admire. It'd be awesome if we could all move forward and forgive each other.
Well, I think there's ever an opportunity for people to move forward from beefs and try and take all this energy that's been focused on negative, and put it into something that, whether it's people that are going through mental health or abuse or anything like that, can at least benefit from all of your guys' energy and time. Because when people come together and they've got a common cause, you usually find that whether that's a positive thing or a negative thing, that when people unite over it, it's a powerful thing. So hopefully, like I say, something.
Thanks for making this happen. I mean, damn it, this is the most hopeful chance that I've ever seen.
Well, we're doing our best, and like I say, the first week was quite a big one. We had people speaking out that had never done so, and it did have a bit of a narrative that week, and we sort of seen it as phase one, where it was Russ's flesh and blood and his ex-partners, and now we're trying to focus on the haunt phases. So thanks for coming and joining us, and like I say, Cap, who is in Skype just now in this chat.
Yeah, I'm here.
I'll make sure that once we're done with the Skype chat, that he gets you onto Discord, and once we're there, it will be a bunch of ladies that will be looking after you. So Matt's the only weird man that you'll interact with from the team, but he's a lovely Canadian. Don't worry, he collects like fucking pop figures. Jesus Christ. So he's one of those. He's harmless. He's a nice guy. So you'll be temporarily in the hands of Matt, but then we'll hand you over to the aftercare team, and they can. I feel. Did anybody ever watch Jeremy Kyle, like in the UK? Like that's what he said. The aftercare team. I feel like he's conditioned me to say this. So. Oh, even just saying that. But what we're going to do now is just thank you once again, Marissa, for coming on. And I know that you'll have a lot more to say once we come to the San Diego section. And, I think you've done fantastic. I think your nerves held up and you did an amazing job. So thanks so much for coming and joining us.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Okay, so now we're going to drop our controversial bomb on this evening with our next guest, which is former admin, I do believe, a former member of Russ's team, and we're going to see maybe a slightly different perspective on things. And yeah, so Marissa, if you could just turn off your mic for us and turn off your camera for us and stay in Skype. Don't hang up Skype, but just once you get, there you go, you'll get the hang of it. Just take your time. And Cap, if you could turn your mic off, and Marissa, if you could turn your mic off for us as well.
Mine's already off. It's good.
Okay, no problem. Just need to help Marissa get. Maybe it is muted. Maybe I'm tripping here. I'm just hang on a second. Okay. It's all good. So, I think it's just the headphones making a static that's just coming from Static Land. So, before we move on any further, I'm just going to see how the streams. 579 people. Shit. That chat wasn't slow enough. It's going crazy. So yeah, big shout out to the mod team. A big shout out to everybody that's out in the side chat, and we're happy to try and facilitate as many questions as we can, but when the chat's going crazy, it's a little difficult. But we'll do our best. So, give me 1 minute. If everyone needs to go to the bathroom or make a hot beverage, this is your time. We'll be running a little bit over the 2-hour mark, just to fit in a couple more people. And the next guest, like I say, is a spicy meatball. So stay tuned. Let's say 4 minutes. 4 minutes. 4 minutes. 4 minutes. Go pee. No, you, Andy. You rock. You rock. And thank you for using the support link in the description. It makes all the difference. So thank you very much, Andy Fry. Okay, no problem. Okay, so thank you everybody for waiting there. I was just setting up the next guest on Skype, and our next guest is a current moderator and contestant screening. Does the screening process? He's going to tell us a little bit more about it. But his name is Taryn, and he is our next guest. So Taryn, if you want to be on camera, this is the time to turn it on, and we can begin. There we go. Okay, 1 second. Welcome, mate. Thank you very much for coming and talking to us. And once we begin, I'll frame you up on the next screen. So if you're a bit wonky, I'll frame you up properly. But thanks for coming and talking to us. Why don't you start in the same way as everyone else does, with just introducing who you are and how you fit into the whole Mckamey Manor saga. Oh, I do apologize. I need you to start again because I forgot to turn the audio on because I'm a total noob. So I do apologize.
Sometimes switching software is difficult. It's cool, man.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Everyone's freaking out in the side chat. Yeah, we're going to start over. Like the whole fucking side chat just lit up. I'm very sorry. I'm very, very sorry. Okay.
Oh, no problem at all, man.
Okay, it wasn't a conspiracy. Like the conspiracy is just literally after about 5 seconds the conspiracy started. So that was a Ron malfunction. So let's start.
Did Taryn go ghost?
What happened?
Your audios are perfect.
Okay, so let's just start from the very beginning. Who you are?
All right.
How you fit? You were nailing it as well. I do apologize. So back to.
Oh, no problem at all, man. Now I've had time to actually collect my thoughts a little more.
No problem. And apologies at home as well. I do apologize.
All right. So my name is Taryn Neal. I'm a current moderator, for the Mckamey Manor Facebook page, and I also help talk to people before they actually get put on the schedule to come to Mckamey Manor and do their initial screening with them. I actually first heard about Mckamey Manor watching a YouTube channel that you've probably heard of called Surviving Life. I was watching your Deep Web Red Rooms video, and I saw that, Mckamey Manor was mentioned, and that was the first time I'd ever heard about it. After seeing it, I actually went on and did some more research. I found his website, and I watched some YouTube videos and stuff. And one of the YouTube videos, he put his phone number on there. So I called him and, I talked to him for a while and it intrigued me. So I wanted to do a tour. And that's how I, initially got into the whole Mckamey Manor universe.
Wow. So what you're saying is the reason that you have connected with Russ was through watching the content on this channel.
Absolutely. It's kind of funny because it's all came full circle.
That's a weird, that's irony in itself right there. So you've made contact with Russ. You're gearing up for your first tour. And this is all taking place in Tennessee, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. So let's say, take us now from when you started working towards your tour and how that begun and the build up to it. Because I hear the build up is something that was new to me to find out about this, how it was sort of an online connection and humiliation sort of ritual stuff like you'd sort of expect from an extreme event situation. But for me, it was news. So was there anything like that for you? Take us from there.
Yeah, absolutely. So I did my initial screening, got put on the schedule. And at the time, I only lived about 6 hours from Summertown, Tennessee. So I was on the schedule. but somebody ended up dropping out. So I got a phone call and they were like, "Hey, are you able to come like last minute, like next week sometime?" I'm like, "Yeah, cool, sure, I'll come down." So it was kind of a last minute deal for my first time. I went down, and I was given like assignments and things, and we don't do it as much anymore, because the boot camp really, isn't as big of a thing anymore either. But the assignments were things that I had to do, in order to gain like fail cards and stuff, so that if I were to fail something in the manor, I could use a fail card and not have to go to like a breaker or something like that. Um, so
Just before you go any further there, just because again, it's just really healthy for my brain. Just remind me, so that does the fail card represent something that will happen in the manor that you can use to help you get out of it? Or I know if someone said previously that it helped towards the total amount of money that you would win. Can you just in your mind, what were the fail cards in place for, and how did they operate?
okay, so the fail cards were there. So say you couldn't complete a stunt, right? Now, normally, if you can't complete a stunt, you then, you lose and you can't win the money anymore. Now, if you don't want to quit, actually, right, and you want to go on to something else, Russell generally take you to somewhere else if you'd like to go. But, at that point, you don't win the money. Now, if you have a fail card and you do not complete a certain stunt, then you can, you have that fail card, you use it, and he'll then take you to another stunt. At that point, you will still have the money on the table.
Okay, well that's good. That puts it just helps put it in perspective for everybody. So just continue where you were, and you were getting ready to go. First hunt. Carry on.
Yeah. Okay. So, more about the assignments too. Even they were things that I stayed up all night doing them. Right. That was my choice. Right. That was something that I didn't have to do, but I wanted to do it because, first of all, I had a lot of fun with it, and second of all, I believe I wanted as many fail cards as I could whenever I went into it. So after that whole night, went to the place where the boot camp was held. Did some stuff. It was very, very mentally, or not very. It was very physically exhausting. The boot camp was, I should say. It was very mentally exhausting as well, but it was really physically exhausting. The boot camp portion of it was. I did some things. It was so long ago. My first tour. I can't exactly remember what it was.
How long ago was your first tour?
My first one was April of this year, I believe. But still, it's been like almost a year. If anybody is in the Mckamey Manor closed group, they can scroll back and they'll see me. I'm in a Captain America outfit.
And was that your choice of onesie, or was that Russ's choice of onesie?
That was my choice. 100% my choice.
Does everybody get to choose their own onesie just to fill in the lore?
Yes.
They do.
People choose their own onesie. Matter of fact, they have it before they ever even come to Tennessee, because they do introduction videos and stuff, and they're required to wear that onesie when they're doing that.
Okay, no problem. Again, a silly question, but for the lore, it helps.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm free to answer just about any question you can ask. Like I said, before we got on, I'm a pretty open book. But so my first tour, I'm not gonna lie to you. After doing the boot camp, I was reading through the contract, and I had another buddy of mine with me that is currently stationed on Fort Campbell, and me and him were, reading through the contract together, and we were like, "Wow, what the heck is all this?" Because it seemed pretty insane, And I'm not gonna lie to you. About halfway through the contract, I stopped and I told Russ. I said, "Russ, man, this is too crazy for me. I can't do this." And I'm sorry, I'm scatterbrained. Before that happened,
it's fine. Don't.
While I was doing the boot
don't
camp,
worry.
I had already had a panic attack. Right. So we were doing something. I had already signed a portion of the contract, and we were doing a thing, and it was like it was Tennessee in summer, so it was like stupid hot. So, Russ pulled out the water hose, just to cool me off is all it was. But he was already so far in my head at that point that once he sprayed me with the water hose, it felt like I was drowning, right? I was perfectly fine. I was just being sprayed with a water hose, but that's part of the mind game, So I felt like I was drowning, and I had already had a panic attack at that point. And then after reading through the contract, my mind was just going 100 different ways. Like, hey, if I had a panic attack from getting sprayed with water, how am I going to react whenever this happens or whenever that happens? So I did quit the contract during my first tour. But then we skip to July, right? July of this year. It was July 6th to be exact. July 4th, Russ called me and he asked me if I could do it last minute. I was like, yeah, sure. That's cool. So July 6th comes. And at this point, a couple weeks prior, I had actually broken my arm, right, at work. So I went to the manor and I had my arm was in a cast, right? So if you go on YouTube, right, and you go to the Mckamey Manor Presents YouTube channel and you go to watch the video and then there were none, you skip to about 45 minutes and 34 seconds-ish. It's probably more like 35 seconds. But you see me, right? And you see me, I'm buried alive. And then near the end of that clip where I'm at, you can actually see my arm in the cast. But I went there on July 6th, got there late at night because I drove from West Virginia having the 4th of July festivities with my parents in West Virginia and grandparents. So I drove there, got to his property, got out. Obviously, I had to finish signing the contract because I didn't finish it when I was there before, but he still had my copy of the contract.
Okay.
I signed it, finished signing it, and then he put headphones on my head. He put I believe it was like a mask thing on my head, right? That kind of it was kind of like a blindfold, but it actually was a mask. And then he put me in the back of his truck and we went driving, right? So we drove to a location, and the location that we drove to was the morgue. So he took me into the morgue, or at least that's just what it's called, is the morgue. So he took me into the morgue. He strapped me to the wall. He put a straitjacket on me, and he proceeded, to play some mind games with me, right? So, and like I said, everything was live streamed to the Facebook group. So if you're in the Facebook group, you can go back and watch 100% my tour. He took a screwdriver, right? It was just a normal flathead screwdriver. And he noticed that I was starting to breathe heavy already. And he told the fans, he was like, hey, watch this. He's going to have a panic attack. All I'm going to do is I'm going to act like I'm cutting him, and he's going to totally freak out. All he did was he took that screwdriver, he rubbed it on my arm, and I had an absolute, I had a straight, more of a panic attack than I can ever say that I've ever had in my life. It's the mind game of it. That's where everybody really freaks out is, I mean, Russ says it all the time, with the use of the power of suggestion and with the use of hypnosis, you can be sitting in a kiddie pool and think that you're in the ocean with sharks swimming around you. It's part of the experience, that mind game is. And he did that for a while. He put a dog shock collar on my arm and he shocked me. I had to put a whole bunch of clothespins on my face. He poured fake blood on me. Then after that, we went to Manorhorn, which is another stunt. I really, really can't explain it. It's just something that you kind of have to know about or watch to really get what it is. It's kind of hard to explain. I had another panic attack up there. Then he took me down off of Manorhorn, and he put me in this contraption that he told me was going to be another form of public transit, right? So public transit, like Anthony Silvis was talking about earlier, usually is where there's a chain on the back of the truck, you hold onto the chain and he drags you, right? It didn't just happen once. If you watch Pro Haunter's video on YouTube, you see it. He's holding onto a chain and he's dragging you. It's not like you're not able to get off of the chain. You just let go and you're there. You see Pro Haunter let go several times. And it's not something that you don't expect to happen either, because it's in the contract. Everything that happens at the manor, was going to happen prior to it happening, because you can fit a lot on 40 pages. It's a 40-page waiver. So I don't understand how people can say that they didn't expect something to happen, or how people can say that other things happened other than what they were expecting. But he ended up not taking me to public transit. That was part of the mind game as well. He knew I didn't want to get buried alive. So he just started piling dirt on top of me. He buried me alive. And then at that point, that's whenever I quit. And you can see it in the revised and then there were none video that's on YouTube now. I quit. After I quit, he tells me to talk to the fans. I laugh a little bit, and he says, "Oh, you're laughing again," because I laughed a little bit in the morgue, because laughing is my natural response to fear. But after I laughed, I'm like, no, Russ, please, no. You can see me begging, and he just dumps water on my head. That's all he does, right? And I'm like, you can hear me breathing and coughing and stuff, because I'm laying down. When you get water poured on your face, it's going to take your breath away. And then he just lays me back down, and I was like, guys, you really don't want to do this. And I talked to the fans a little bit. He put me in the back of his truck again, took me back to his property, and that was my experience of actually going through the tour at Mckamey Manor.
Okay, and that was your first experience, or was that your entire double?
That was
double,
both of my experiences.
Double whammy.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So, not making it through the signing on the first one, and then the Matterhorn. Did you say was the? No, it was you being buried alive that made you quit
me
the
being
second
buried
time.
alive.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, just making sure I'm up to. I know where we are with this. It's a massive story, and trying to get everyone's perception on it. Now, what is your sort of perception on the majority of what people think is going to happen compared to, say, someone having to step in and stop a tour because of what it looks like is happening, even when the contestant themselves has said they felt that they were happy the person stopped it? Is this a recurring thing, or are these isolated incidents? Just in your experience, Taryn, not in anyone else's.
So there is a safe word, right? So when that person wants to quit, they can say that safe word, and the tour is 100% over. Okay. I'm going to say this, right? And I believe Marissa Phillips would tell you the same thing. I don't know if she's still on. But Marissa did actually reach out to us and ask us if she could have another tour at Mckamey Manor here in Tennessee. So I personally believe, at least, that it's not that she feels like she was unsafe, and she even said that, right? I mean, I've never seen anyone ever have to step in, other than Anthony at Cata Silvis, who stepped in. I've never seen anyone ever have to step in and say, "Hey, this has gone too far." I just believe, once that person says the safe word and it's over, it's over. And and I know I mentioned earlier that I said the safe word and he poured water on my face, right? Well, at that point, I had known Russ for a few months, right? And Russ knew me, and we were comfortable with each other. He continued after I said that I quit, because I'm the type of person who enjoys stuff like that, right? Russ knew that I could handle it, and Russ knew that I wasn't going to get upset with him if he continued that. It's just like, I quit. He didn't take me to anything.
I understand
dangerous.
Exactly what you're saying, and I think just with what you're saying there, you could apply the same mindset to a contestant like Marissa, who'd already done multiple tours in multiple locations, Russ's connection with her and his want to, or his feeling that because they had a connection he could push them further. But when someone's contained in a tank of water, it's not too far-fetched to think that Ross's mindset, in the same as it was for you, would be the same for Marissa, where even if maybe she had said the safe word, he was going to push her forward. Now I'm just going
Well,
by...
here's the
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, here's the thing about that though. Once I said the safe word, he didn't keep me in the place where I said the safe word and quit it, right? So once I said the safe word, he dug my face out of the dirt, right? So I could breathe again. I even told him prior, I said, Russ, I can't breathe. He said, okay, say your safe word and we'll get you out. And I said, okay. So I said the safe word. He dug my face out. And at that point, after I had already quit or whatever, you know, that's whenever he poured the water on me because I laughed. I feel like it would be the same with any contestant. You know, once they say the safe word, he's going to get them out of that situation. He may do a couple, you know, small things, you know, just to, you know.
We had a question from somebody who was asking, do you feel that this is a haunt, or do you feel like it's more like a torture experience?
Okay, it is 100% not a torture experience. So if you look up the definition of torture, I did this a while back, so
Sure.
I can't remember the exact definition of torture. But torture is basically, first of all, torture is non-consensual, right? And with torture, you can't get out whenever you want. With Mckamey Manor, it is consensual. You're not that nobody's there against their own free will, and you can quit at any time, right? So it's definitely 100% not torture.
Can I just
the way that
can I just so that we're all clear on everything? Here is the definition of torture. It is hang on a second. An action or practice inflicting severe pain on someone as a punishment in order to force them to do something. So there's nothing there about consent or anything like that.
Okay. I apologize.
Yeah, that's fine.
I apologize. I was incorrect about that.
That's fine.
But even taking that definition, right? Inflicting severe pain on somebody.
It's still consenting. Listen,
it?
it's consenting adults. Listen, I don't want you to get off topic. I was just making sure we defined what torture was. Again,
Okay.
I'm not. We're not talking about a guy pulling up in Walmart and grabbing someone and driving away somewhere and torturing them without them prior knowledge or anything like that. I just wanted to make sure we knew as a channel and we all were on the same page of what torture was. That wasn't me doing
and
anything
I appreciate that.
That wasn't a shifty tactic or anything like that.
No,
That
not
was,
at all. Not at all. I appreciate you.
No problem.
You know,
No problem.
actually giving the real definition.
No problem.
But even using that definition, right? I don't believe it's torture. I would describe it as an extreme horror experience. Because in my opinion, it's so much bigger and it's so much more extravagant than just a haunted house. I believe it's better than a haunted house, in my opinion. I would totally describe it as an extreme horror experience.
Sorry. I think for me, I think that nails it for a description. Like when you look at even the persona Russ wants to portray, I think that title suits it a lot better than a haunt. I think haunt's very... There's a big scope with the word haunt, if you know what I mean. There's haunts for 5-year-olds and there's haunts for grown-ups. So
and in my opinion, though, the reason he calls it that is because, well, first off, when Mckamey Manor first started, it was a normal haunt, right?
Yep.
And then once it went to the more extreme, right, it was one of the first haunts of its kind, right? And I would even call things like Blackout, right? Blackout, they brand themselves as a haunted house. They brand themselves as an extreme haunt.
Yep.
But I would even go as far as to say Blackout isn't an extreme haunt, and they're more of an extreme horror experience.
Yeah,
right?
You know, I almost feel we're at a point in history with the entire genre of experience where we've not bled out the old terminology. if you see what I mean. So
Exactly.
we've had years of conditioning to think these things are haunts, but now that we've moved into what we're moving into 2020, and you just have to look at how movies have progressed over the years to see people's want for more extreme everything. And
Yeah, absolutely.
I can understand why the haunts would be the same, and Blackout's a great example of that, because they're intimate tours and they are, popular. They are popular.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I believe that, like I said, the reason he calls it that isn't to try to deceive anybody, but it's kind of like you said, like conditioning over the years, and it's like it's what's gonna get people to like get on the page of like, okay, this thing is an extreme way to scare me, right? So when you think of a haunted house, you think of a place where you go where people try to scare you, right? And then when you think of an extreme haunt, you think, okay, it's a place where I go that people are trying to scare me, but they're going to be able to touch me, and I'm going to be put into some extreme situations, right? So I don't believe he's trying to deceive anybody by any means by calling it an extreme haunt. I believe that it's just kind of the culture that we're in, to where is the reason why it's called that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's understandable if you had a haunt that was already pretty extreme, and then you start an extreme haunt and just chuck extreme on. It's perception in the creator, I guess. And for me, the terminology isn't the fundamental issue that I think people maybe some people missed all the videos and stumbled into Mckamey Manor completely blind and were shocked by the outcome. But I don't think that is possible. So tell us about your experience. You said you were part of the screening process when people first apply. Can you tell, is that a standard process, or does it vary depending on Russ's what's the word I'm looking for, discretion, person to person? Tell us about the process.
No, it doesn't vary based on Russ's discretion. We have a standard process, that we go through, a standard set of questions that we ask people beforehand, and then we just kind of talk to people, after and before we do the process, and after we do the process. We then, as screeners, we just talk to people, kind of get to know the person, what kind of person they are, what their hobbies are, what they like to do. We almost become friends with every person. That way we know.
It's data mining. It's data mining. It's data mining for.
Exactly.
But again, that's not necessarily different from anyone who wants to piece together your fears and put the shits up you properly. So again, that I would expect that from a interactive on multiple levels experience. Again, I don't agree with some of the allegations of things that have went on with regards to previous guests or anything like that. But certainly, have you witnessed anything what you would say is crossed the line ever in your time at the manor with yourself or anyone else? Witnessed, not heard, witnessed.
Me personally, no. I've never seen anything that's ever crossed the line. As far as what goes on in Mckamey Manor, I've never seen anything that has ever, been not cool to me that's went on. I'm a person with a very strong moral compass. I go to church every Sunday and Wednesday. My dad's a pastor. If I thought that a lot of the allegations that were going against Russ were true, and if I thought that Russ crossed the line at all in the manor, I would not have any dealings with Russ. The reason that I stick around is because I truly believe that Russ is a good person, and I believe that the manor is a good experience to have. Okay,
well, just for the sake of fairness, do you want to just talk a little bit on what it is you feel is the positive sides, what it is you feel that in your eyes makes Russ different from everyone else that's been on the show, to put it, accurately, because I don't want this to be a one-sided platform. You can, if you're in contact with Russ, you tell him that the platform's open to him. I'm sure everyone would lose their fucking mind if he stepped forward, and he's certainly not going to be attacked by me and journalistically or anything. It would just be interesting to see reaction from the man at the center of all of this, because a lot of people are watching, you know, and it's just more people as this becomes a trend and mainstream topic. You're going to see a lot of bigger channels starting to speak out, and I encourage Russ to take whatever opportunities he is going to be able to get from any of this. And if he doesn't see this platform as worth his time, hey, hats off. But the platform is always open to him. So I know that if you're in contact with him, just let him know, because I don't want this to be a one-sided thing. So tell us in your own words your version of Russ. And then afterwards, I'll ask you a few questions, if that's all right. So just tell us, who is Russ to you? And yeah, like I say, you tell us. You tell us.
Russ to me is an entertainer, right? And I know that's so cliche because that's how he describes himself. But I really do describe him like that, right? You know, from the moment that you first talk to him on the phone before he ever knows you, he's an entertaining guy. You know, he'll talk to you. He talks about the manor. He makes these movies, right, on the channel to entertain people. The whole tour is geared around the Facebook fans, right, and what they want to see. And, you know, I mean, a lot of times, especially when they're live feeded, almost every tour is now live fed. He'll have the contestant talk to the people on the live stream. He's there to entertain the contestant, even, you know, with the whole extreme haunt. And even like away from Mckamey Manor, right? Even when you step back and you just look at Russ as a person, right? I've hung out with Russ before, a few times actually, just outside of the manor, not having anything to do with Mckamey Manor, especially around this Halloween time, just hanging out, going to different haunts with him in different states. He's a person who likes to have fun. He enjoys all things haunted house related. You know, he's a good guy. You know, I know you said earlier that it's hard to see the divide, right, between Russ as a person and Russ as an actor, right?
Correct.
And I can totally see where you're coming from. Just watching YouTube videos or just watching even the Facebook feeds, right? Because everything that you're seeing on especially the YouTube is Russ the actor, right? But once you actually take a tour and once you actually meet Russ for yourself, and especially once you get to know Russ, you can 100% see that divide between Russ the actor and Russ the person.
And when you're on your social events for Russ and things like this, I mean, is that a common thing? Is it like a ritual thing where you go out every month, or is it just a sporadic sort of normal relationship?
It's just kind of a sporadic and normal relationship. Like I said, I live like 8 hours away from the guy, right? So
okay.
we can't like go out every weekend together and go sing karaoke or whatever.
Sure.
But every once in a while, you know, we'll just get together and we'll, especially around Halloween time is when it happens, you know, the most. We'll just, you know, we'll get together. We'll go to haunted houses and stuff. Like you can probably see pictures either on my Facebook, or I don't know if they're all in the closed group or whatever, but of us, you know, just getting on and doing reviews, you know, for different haunted houses that we went to.
And like, how many Halloweens would you say you've spent, you know, doing stuff?
What is it?
How many Halloweens have you guys spent together doing stuff?
I've only, like I said, I've only met Russ
this year. This year. Okay.
So this was the first time.
Okay.
Halloween wise, but
okay.
I have hung out with Russ more times other than just Halloween as well.
Okay. And you said you've known him since April, roughly. Is that right?
Roughly.
Yes. Yeah. So how long have
I
you
don't
been?
know when you're. Oh, I'm sorry.
How long have you been staff as opposed to customer, so to say, or
oh Lord,
I don't know what the word right. What is a contestant? Is a contestant the right word?
Yeah.
Contestant's the right word,
contestant,
right?
Yeah,
contestant.
Yeah. The right word, yes.
So when was the shift from contestant to staff, open and you know worded however loosely you like it?
Well, by the time that I went to my second tour, I was actually already a moderator. So I believe that I became a moderator if I took my tour in April. I believe I became a moderator in June.
Okay.
And then I don't think I started doing screenings until August or September,
Okay.
I would say.
And you don't have to answer this if you don't want to. How many moderators are in the moderator team? Is it a big team or is it a small team? And is it regular moderators on the page, or is it a fixed unit of moderators? Like, has it got a high turnover?
I believe we have about 7 or 8 right now.
7 or 8.
I would say.
Okay.
Hold on. If you let me think for just a second, I can
Sure.
count them exactly. So
Yeah, listen, I mean, I understand how many mods it'll take to run a Facebook page with a bunch of people on it. So don't. It's not a weird question. It's really.
Yeah. No, totally. I believe we have 7 or 8. I think I'm correct about that.
Okay.
And then obviously, you know, we had to add a lot more here around this time because we had a big influx of, you know, people joining the group and stuff. Before the news article came out that actually made Mckamey Manor blow up and get bigger than it has ever been, it was a group of, I think, 4. And
Okay.
since my time of being a moderator, other than adding the people because of the big influx, there was only one moderator that had been, you know, that had been let go or had left.
Yeah. And do they all meet up with Russ socially, or is that just unique to yourself?
There's a couple of us that do. I would say that others do even more frequently than I do.
And is that just geographical reasons?
Yeah, that's part of it. Some of them do it for geographical reasons, and some of it do it because they're a lot closer to Russ than I am even. I mean, you've probably heard the name pop up several times. Chris Smith. I mean, that's basically Russ's right-hand guy, you know, and they're like bread and butter. They go together, you know, they're great together, and they're like best friends. So, I mean, they hang out quite often.
Well, Chris, if you're watching, we're happy to have you as well. So, like I say, everyone that's involved, we're happy to talk to anybody. But you know, you certainly paint a different picture of Russ. And if you were watching the shows that Lindsay was on when they were touching about the severity of Russ's mental health, does that ever a factor that? Do you ever feel like there's any alarm bells ringing on the? Well, not alleged because it's documented. So the mental health history of Russ. Do you ever feel like that is something that you've had any run-ins with? The let me just try and rephrase this. Do you feel like the mental health that was mentioned by in the previous shows? Do you feel like that ever becomes a factor with your interactions with Russ?
For me personally, no.
No.
I mean, for me personally, every time I've hung out with Russ, you know, he's been a perfectly normal guy, you know, and he's been, you know, a great host to me. I know the comments are probably going crazy right now. I can't see them because I'm on Skype.
I'm not even paying attention to the. I actually slowed them down as well. I had it on 30 seconds, and I've slowed it down to 60 seconds per person. I can only comment once every minute because it's just difficult to make sense of what's going on. But let me just throw my 2 cents in, right? Because your experience sounds to me a lot like the experience of the first year of Russ's relationships, where he gets close with Carol and with Holly, where they describe this perfect gentleman and this ability to mask himself, which when you've got people that are, unless Russ comes and tells us otherwise, I could only go on the one side. I mean, that's all I can do, right? So,
well, can I mention something about that one side real quick?
Yeah, of course.
I don't know how I can get it to you, right?
Okay.
But I do have a video, and I don't know how popular this is going to be, all right? So I want to preface this by saying I am not a victim blamer, right? I grew up as a victim myself of childhood abuse, and I watched my mom be a victim of domestic abuse, okay? So I do not condone abuse at all, not at all, right? But I do have a video, and I'll never blame the victim, but I do have a video of Holly saying that anytime she says that Russ abused her, that it is her mental health speaking, and that Russ was a perfect gentleman to her, and that Russ never abused her at all, neither mentally nor physically, and that Russ is the reason that she's so into bodybuilding today, and that's the reason why she's a plumber today, and that's the reason why she was able to go so far in life. I have that video on my phone, and I would like to get that to you somehow.
Well, I'll set you up with encrypted everything that you need to do that, so don't worry, and we'll facilitate that. But what I would say is, for me, when it comes to information, it comes to videos and all that stuff, we have to look at both sides, and 100%.
Oh no, absolutely,
100%,
absolutely, I agree with you.
100%. If new light is brought together, I've had great interactions with everybody that's been on the show, including yourself as well, with the aftercare. For me, I need to I need to go with the people that have the best. If this was me picking someone to come and fit an engine to my car, right? And I had the choice between somebody who'd been there 10 years or 5 years or 13
no, and
years
I totally
or a few
totally
months.
agree with you. I totally understand.
But your story mirrors the honeymoon period that we'd heard before, and I'm not trying to pigeonhole you or make you sound like you've said anything in the slightest. You've not. I'm really just processing and thinking out loud, because there's a lot of similarities in the actions of Russ, and a lot of similarities in how you speak about Russ and how people that were closest to Russ spoke about Russ in the beginning. And the reason that I was asking about if other people met Russ on the outside or anything like this is simply, is Russ in a way replacing the family lost with his Mckamey Manor, not so much staff, but his family's created there? Is your relationship with Russ something he would mirror if his son would speak to him? And again, I don't even know if I'm asking you a question right now. I think I'm just thinking out loud, to be honest with you. I don't even know what that means, if that is the case. It's not a bad thing. It's just, maybe I'm just thinking out loud. But for me, the similarities and the honeymoon period and all of this is interesting. It's interesting, and so is how your relationship is with Russ, and so is how the trust that you seem to have with Russ is certainly different from the previous guests. So it's interesting, but for me, again, it's how much weight and I hate saying words like cast, because this isn't a Netflix series, right? I feel like it's so bad, but I'm
the guests.
I'm hooked on this. Like, I am hooked on the wacky turns. This is wacky turns. Fucking hell! Like, I just think it's interesting talking to you. I hope you feel when this call ends and your fucking mobile just explodes with everything, that you feel like this platform isn't going to, bullshit you. And if anyone else wants to come forward that's in your position, I'm sure it's up to Russ at the end of the day. If anyone does want to come forward, you know where we are, and we've got a research server set up for this entire project now. If you go to the main channel,
I'm in on it.
Yeah, if you go to the main channel, up at the top it says join Discord. If you click that will now take you to the research server. It's slowly getting set up. It was made today, but I figured it would be a good idea to just create our own Mckamey Manor network of people, and our own sort of community, if you will, because a lot of people have joined my Discord, and that's awesome. But I think it would be good, in the same way as I treat the Facebook account where it's only for Mckamey Manor. Once we start winding down this and we're looking into other things, it would just be good to have a living point of reference with everyone there, tagged how they fit in, and anyone who wants to then come and talk to you guys can join that Discord, and there's a list of Tennessee contestants, San Diego contestants, pro-Russ, anti-Russ, and everyone's there, but it's set up in a way that no one can shit talk each other, and public spaces, the only spaces you can mingle publicly are with people that you're tagged with, so that there can't be any toxicity. It would just be a really,
like an open platform.
Yeah,
I enjoy that, and that's why I enjoyed Mckamey Manor Talk in the beginning. Was because it was an open platform where both sides, could discuss.
They fucking hate me now, man.
Opinions.
They fucking hate me now. That whole group fucking hates me now. Like,
oh no, they hate me too. I was
banned
kicked a while back.
I got banned today again from Mckamey Manor Talk, the Facebook group. Massive conspiracy against me going on there. But listen, I'm not.
Oh no,
I'm not here to get sucked into anyone's beef behind the scenes. Like I say, I've got an entire team of people that I've got to worry about. So, it has nothing of any stress. It's just a little b't disappointing for some people who might be swayed not to come on and talk just by the actions of a group. But I would like to say that 99%, in fact, I don't even know who banned me or who I've meant to have a problem with. But other than that, every single person I interacted with on that Facebook group was awesome. They were really, really nice. They were nice to my face. So I don't know what was going on behind the scenes, but certainly there was issues there. But it's just the way it goes. But is there anything else you want to kind of just, put out there? And I would like to say this is definitely not going to be the last time you're on this. There's going to be a whole whack of questions, and people are going to want to. I'd quite like to just check in with you in a year, and then check in with you a year after that as well. Just as a little interesting. Yeah.
I give all of my social media platforms openly. I don't care who contacts me. My phone number is out in the public. For anyone to find. It's openly on the Mckamey Manor closed group page. If you don't mind, I would even give it here. So
no, listen. You are really new to the internet. Okay, like you may have spent your life on the internet, dude, but just for legal reasons, that was a joke. Algorithm. No one's saying any of that shit. Google, if you're listening, he's a comedian, and that was just the comedy interlude. But you gotta watch. Like the internet's fucked, mate. Like I love you all, internet, but shit can go down fast. You just gotta watch, bro. 100%. But listen, I think you put a really interesting perspective. Like I say, for me, you seem like a really nice guy. I don't smell any bullshit, but at the same time, I don't think you're immune to the spells of Russ. I think you've experienced the intense side of Russ, his manipulation in the extreme hunt experience with what you can do to people's minds and trick them. I don't think you're under any spell like Holly or Carol was, but I certainly think that your story adds a different twist. The video you talked about adds a different twist, and you're welcome back anytime. I think you've been super respectful, and I'm more than happy to have any more of the mod team on. I'm sure there's one fucking crazy mod that wants to come on and just fucking lose his fucking mind. You must know who I'm talking about. There must be that one guy in the team that's just like, I'd go on and fucking rip this guy's arsehole open. Like, there's that one.
I don't think we have that anymore, but we used to have one that I love him to death. Me and him still friends to this day, but he would be that guy.
Yeah. If you're still out there, here we are. Well, listen, thank you very much for joining me. We're pushing almost 3 hours now, so we're going to wind this down. And I don't want anyone in the side chat to feel like if their questions have been missed or anything like that. I am setting up a Discord so that my community who are on Discord can have an opportunity to interact with people, but I think I broke it, so I do apologize. But yeah, what I'm going to do now is thank everybody that's been on Skype for joining us. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to test a new segment in this where if any of my admin team or anybody that is on my Discord who is a patron or a channel member, you guys can come on and we can do a little bit of voice chat. But just want to say, thank you very much once again for coming on, dude. And we'll hopefully speak to you again.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime.
All right, brother. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, so we're off of Skype now. Everyone else who I contacted about the first Tennessee show, obviously will carry you forward into tomorrow's show, which will be again at 11:30. I will set up earlier this time. A lot of the time it's trying to juggle when people finish work and things like that. So what I'm going to do now is just sort of take 10 minutes to be a bit YouTubey. Let me go. If any of you people felt like I was talking over anyone in the previous interviews, I'm really sorry. I've watched a little bit of an online course on how to interview and things like that, so I'm going to try and improve everything as much as I can for everyone. So yeah, I'm glad that I'm glad that you guys are enjoying that this series. I think it's getting really interesting. I think it really, really is getting interesting, and I can't wait to have my say in the videos. Like this is what's exciting for me, is I get to kind of listen to everyone and kind of sit back and absorb it all, so that when I do the video on this, that's when I'll be putting over my opinion. And I'm looking forward to feeling proud that I can have even anything close to the word truth. It's not going to be exposed. This unmasking series is going to continue. We're on unmasking Mckamey right now, obviously, but we are going to be moving forward at some point into unmasking our next group. So this has been awesome. So what I'd like to do is try and see if anyone on my Discord would like to come and join us on the live stream. Oh, there is people in here. Hello. I think it's maybe because I've got stream mode on. Okay, so why can't we see that, Ron? Why is everything broken? Right, give me a second. Let me just grab this. Copy. Why are you being a pain in the balls? Just give us a second, people. Just give us oh man, we're going to start getting healthy Discord madness. Okay, so live stream chat, voice, live stream VC. Okay, so yeah, if anybody wants to join the live stream VC, do so, and we'll see if Ron has broken this. Let's have a look. How's Ron? Oh yeah, look, you're all there. Ha ha!
You did it.
I'm a real boy. Awesome, awesome. So, what do you guys think? What do you guys think of the sort of interviews from tonight? How this is sort of moving forward? And before you answer that, right? Let me just you're there, so everyone can talk. Awesome. Right. So tell us what you guys think. Take it away. Let's go to Chef first. What are you thinking, Chef? Oh, hang on. I don't think we're getting audio. Hang on a second. Hang on. Matt, can you talk in Discord for me, please? I don't know what the fuck's going on. Hang on a sec. Oh, hang on. Just bear with us, everybody. Okay, that's weird. I'm just not picking up desktop audio. Let me just have a look here. Yeah, that's weird. Okay, can someone else on Discord talk? Can somebody just let me know in the side chat if you can hear people on Discord?
Testing.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Okay, yeah, it's just me being a dumbass. Cashew, you need to use push to talk or use a headset if possible. So, Chef, starting off with you, how do you feel this evening went, and how do you think this series is kind of
I
progressing?
think everything's just loud. Sorry.
And trying to put things.
Can anybody hear Chef? Yeah, people can't. I don't know why we can't hear Chef. Chef, go and try going in and going out again.
Okay, hold
Try now,
Better?
Chef. Try now.
better.
Yeah, I think that's better.
Okay, so you know, basically, everybody's story and experience is different. So
Chef, I don't think we can hear you, mate. I hear him then. I hear him. I hear. Oh yeah, they can hear you. Right. Sorry, everybody. I'm going to shop again. Shop.
okay, well, I mean, like I said, there's a lot to take in, and you know, everybody's experience is quite different. But one question that I do kind of wonder is, both of them, both Russ and the last person you interviewed, they're both prior military, if I'm correct. And I kind of wonder if, you know, they use some horror kind of, yes,
Manipulation
prior
tactics.
military
Yeah,
tactics,
could be.
because a lot of their screening process seems very close to like
Maybe not even practices, maybe myths and legends of things that he's heard that have gone on in conflict, or just general chitty chat with the military boys. Who knows? It's a good point. It's a really good point. What about Cashew? What are your thoughts on this? If you want to put your thought, you don't have to, but if you'd like to, please let us know what you think.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. With the last guy, I just think he might have not had a bad experience. Maybe his experience was just normal, and he just thinks that everyone's lying. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think he's being brainwashed, or maybe he is. I'm not good at that kind of thing, but maybe he just has a normal experience and had fun.
Simon, I've been trying to read the chat. To Simon, I don't want to scroll through it all, but certainly if you want to touch base with me, if you don't manage tonight, we'll make sure throughout this Tennessee series that we connect, and you can get your information to me, mate. I'm not wanting to let anyone think that I'm some unobtainable individual, so it might take a couple of days, but we'll get that sorted. But it's... What you're saying is completely right, Cashew. I mean, everyone's perception on this seems to be, heavily swaying one way, but certainly it's interesting getting points of view from the other side of this, and the more, what I would consider the honeymoon phase of people's relationships with Russ, because, I'm cutting out. Okay, maybe we're not nailing this this side chatty thing as much as I'd hoped, or maybe do I just go through Discord?
I can hear you in Discord. I can hear you, Ron.
Yeah, so with regards to the structured questioning, for me, I'm going in totally blind. Like, I would love to have prior knowledge on everyone and have a bunch of questions ready. So just keep that in mind when you're sort of assessing the quality of the question side of it all, because, like, for example, this evening, I never had any interactions with some of the people that were on prior to tonight. So when it comes to the question side, I know the questions are a bit lame, but that's the reason for that. So if it was an organized interview, I would have a much better grasp on the questioning. So yeah, just to let you know.
I have one more thing to put in.
Yeah, I'm totally down with the letting them talk part. I get that now. So Cashew, anything else you want to add to that?
I was also thinking it might be just women that he goes after. Just seems like the women have more.
Again, when you look at the contrast of the relationship between Lindsay and Russell, his children, that could exactly be what that is, for sure. For sure. Well, really good points there. Cap, what about yourself? You want to get your 2 cents in thus far, or you want to just stay neutral at this point? I can't hear you at all. Your audio is not showing up at all, Cap. Yeah, for some reason you're not coming through. Let me just bash through this, Cap. You'll get an opportunity. Knowing there is knowledge reigns supreme 93. Have you got anything you want to throw in? You don't have to.
My microphone is working.
There you go, bro. We can hear you.
Okay. I just don't know if the last guy was really genuine, Ron.
Oh, I'm Ron sitting on the motherfucking fence, Swanson. Like I'm saying nothing, but you get your point across. You get your point across. Everyone's allowed their opinion here, so you elaborate a little bit more.
Like a nice guy, but I just don't know.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I really felt bad for Marissa, though. She
Yeah.
got really, really, really hurt, and yeah, that was a sad part of life.
Yeah, for sure. Well, okay, yeah, I think you're probably not the only one who feels those points strongly. But Star Fox, have you got anything you want to throw in just before we wind this down?
My main thing right now is it's all perspective.
Yep.
I think it goes for everybody that you've talked to so far. So it's perspective, like as they look at like events that have happened in the past and what's going on now. It's all perspective. Like that's where I'm at. Like
It's
I'm
interesting.
still
It's interesting,
brewing
isn't it?
everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm still brewing everything.
Yep.
Because
Brewing's a great word. Yeah.
Everything's.
Yeah. Oh, it's
every day there's somebody new that there's to talk to. There's something, there's a new perspective coming out. And so I just think right now that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I feel like we're on a massive, massive plane, and some poor me, I'm trying to serve tea off one of those trolleys, and it's just turbulent as fuck, and it's just tea everywhere, and I don't know what's happening, and I'm just trying to hold this together. So I'm glad everyone's enjoying it, and I'm glad we touched on the question side as well. But Twinkie, what do you have to say?
I think it's been very delicious, but I just wanted to give a shout out to all the guests for coming on and their strength. It takes a lot to talk about this and know that you'll get like hate sometimes.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say that.
Okay, well, apparently it's Veterans Day. Happy Veterans Day, someone said. So if that is the case, very happy Veteran Day to all the veterans out there. And just because the word veteran was used there, we're going to be doing a series. You'll hear an announcement, which is a spin-off of our Survivor series, where we're looking at keeping the memory of valor alive. If you've got a story about someone who you've lost through the armed forces, or a story of a situation where you guys got brought together, or you overcame and survived a situation, this platform will offer you a voice to make valor eternal, really, within you're telling it in your own words and allowing that to happen. So yeah, Ron's terrible with days. Ron is just a series of live streams and chaos right now, so it literally doesn't surprise me that I'm missing massive dates. So now, why am I sticky every fucking time? Why am I sticky? Do you want to say anything just before we go? Maybe you could tell us why you're sticky, but maybe you don't know. Maybe you've got nothing to say. It's okay. Well, listen, I just want to say thank you once again to everyone who has shown support for this, who has supported in all the ways that they can. Please make sure you like and share. It's really, really important that you click the bell and you click notifications to get all notifications. Make sure you subscribe to the second channel. There's links to my Instagram, links to my Facebook. Join the Mckamey Manor research server, which is in the main link header of my channel. If you click the join Discord, you will get straight into there, and we can all just start formulating how this will play out, what the people are, where they fit in, and let's make a community for Mckamey Manor that makes sense to those coming into the Mckamey Manor saga. It's the only way I can put it. But listen, thank you everybody for putting up with this length of the stream. I think we got up to like 590 people at some point. It was insane. So it's only getting stronger. It's only getting better. Thank you everyone who supported us in the super chats. Thank you everyone who supported us on the tips link. Check out the Patreon. And from me, Ron Swanson, as always, guys and girls, be safe out there. Fuck.